Welcome into the show on Tuesday. Chris Ranji, Amy Marks, course, Kevin Wheeler with you here. Interesting series of commentary there. We've got Brandon Bosley, Alderman, talking a bit about wanting to get police out there. I mean, he didn't say cracking skulls, but it kind of sounded like that's what he meant. kind of sounded like
a little.
And again, understand the sentiment is obviously there.
Watching TikTok, vertical TV.
Little Kenan Thompson there talking about the Emmys. He was the host of the Emmys last night. I mean, Raj, I don't know that I felt anything more than I felt that. He's like, what else are we going to do? Read?
Yeah, right?
I mean, I'm like, yeah.
And as soon as he said that, I said, oh, Amy's at home.
Oh,
rereading Grapes of Wrath because there were parts she hasn't highlighted yet.
You remember, were you guys old enough? Were you guys old enough?
Because it's true.
I know.
Were you old enough to see the old TV commercial of I think it's about littering, and there's one Native American, and there's just this one tear that rolls down his face. That was Amy just now on that book line.
Yeah, that's
just one sad tear just went.
Oh, she does that. I knew.
What I don't like about Ranji, though, well, there's a lot, but when he'll make an observation about me and it's like a little too specific, but it's also true.
Yeah.
It's like making fun of me for reading the Grapes of Wrath, because there are parts that aren't yet highlighted. I'm like, darn it.
Yes, I know this. I know this lady is at home highlighting books. I know it. Well, I need to refer back to this one later.
And then the third piece, and by the way, all of these things we will be discussing throughout the course of the day. The third thing you heard there was, everybody's making the jokes, right? Can't buy anything anymore. We're talking, inflation is just nonstop conversation. And today,
rent is too damn high, by the way.
Yeah, well, of course it is. Everything is. Food is. I mean, some of the thing I'm buying at the store that I bought for years, you're like, wait, what?
Yes.
I went to when did I go? Oh, this was over the weekend when I was coaching. I had a break and I'm like, I'm gonna get Taco Bell for lunch.
Mm-hmm.
And I ordered my normal regular thing, and I'm like, wait, that was $11. That didn't. It used to be $7 or $8, and it didn't feel like it was that long ago. But look, I mean, we all have been dealing with it. But hey, guys, inflation slowed by 0.1%.
The rate of inflation.
Right. The rate of increase has slowed. That's the part that you got to be clear about, right? Because like the headlines are all kind of murky. They're like, is this good? Some of them are like Hot Take Central, like, well, it continues to be on fire. It's terrible. And then the others are like, hey, it's getting a little better. And the truth is, it's still growing. It just grew at a slower rate.
I thought the AP, the Associated Press, had a very nice headline. U.S. inflation slows for second month, but remains stubbornly high.
There you go.
High.
Yeah, I just kind of, look, I am not a financial expert, but it seemed to me that something like this, because the economy is like this in general, it takes time for anything to happen, either positive or negatively. It takes time. It's almost like stopping a train. Once a train is going, it doesn't come to a dead stop immediately. It takes, a couple of miles before it can finally slow down and come to a stop. And then if it's going to make a turnaround and come back, that takes time as well. I just kind of assumed this is how it was going to go. And whatever the Fed does, whatever they try to do, whatever interest rates they increase, I feel like that would take a while for this to happen. And in fact, the experts you listen to or talk to, nobody really seems to know exactly what effect it's going to have.
Yes, and again, because you have to parse the headlines before getting outraged or elated. Either way, here's the thing. So much of the slowing rate of inflation is contingent exclusively on the energy sector, because when you exclude the energy and food categories, core prices jumped 0.6% from July to August, which was a huge increase from the 0.3% the previous month. Now, again, the rate overall slowed because of the energy sector. But once you subtract the energy sector, most other items got more expensive in August, which is what we all know. Inflation is a heavy burden on American households. That's what we know.
Here's what's going to be great. Things eventually will calm down. Inflation will calm down. We'll get back to quote unquote normal, but no prices will change. We'll be used to it.
Oh,
we'll be used to paying what we're paying now, and it's not going back the other way.
I mean, the rents might, gas prices will. They already have.
Yeah. House prices, that is
house
already
prices will
balancing
change
out more quickly than expected.
Yeah, and I think what's going to end up happening is exactly that. Companies that can get away with charging you more are going to charge you more.
because
And
you're used to
because you're used to it
Yep.
and you're paying for it already, so they're not going to stop. I think you're right about that. You might see some things come down,
Well,
but
when there's competitive bidding, that's
the only thing.
It's always based
Yeah.
on that, and that is, by the way, the oil market. I mean,
Yeah.
it's a market.
This-
So what people are willing to pay for it is what ends up determining the price.
This is a great time for larger retailers to test it out. Throw that floater out there. Let's see if people are biting. Let's see if they're going to pay for this. Oh, they are?
Will they pay $8 a bag
Oh,
for Doritos?
they're gonna keep doing it? Okay. Well, guess that's how much it costs now.
Yeah.
I totally agree with you on that.
I do think for certain staples it will be harder, I guess harder for any type of company or retailer to keep up the charade if it's like chicken and milk. People are going to notice that. I don't think
Only if they stop buying
I
it.
certainly hope chicken is not going to stay as expensive as
Right.
it is. I mean, chicken used to be a cheap date. Now it's expensive. But
Well, the wing prices rebounded. I know that because we were just talking to somebody. Maybe you guys weren't there, but I was just talking to somebody who's in that world, and they were
Are we
like,
doing Wingfest?
"Oh, that's who it
Well,
was.
we were
That's
talking about it,
exactly
yeah.
what it was.
Yeah.
It was the Wingfest people,
Yeah.
and they were like, yeah. I mean, the prices have kind of snapped back a lot
Yeah.
on those things. So
And then again, when we were talking about the different takes, because are you getting the news from the AP, from the Washington Post, from Fox News? Is it cable? Is it a newspaper? All of that is going to change how the facts are presented, and how they're presented can make you feel a certain way. So the core figures are worse than expected. So if you hear, well, wait a minute, inflation didn't slow, it's worse than expected. Again, that's going back to those core figures when you subtract the energy sector. The gas prices have gone down. They're not great, but they've gone down enough where I had to fill up my gas tank this weekend, and I kind of, you wipe your brow, a little relief there. It wasn't as expensive as it has been. I noticed
but
that.
more than it was.
More than
Right.
it was, but significantly less.
Yeah, a lot more doable when it's around $3 than when it's around $4.
Oh, when it was like 4 something,
Yeah.
I mean, that hurt. Like that, I've always been that one who's a little bit too flippant with gas prices because we had the luxury of having affordable gas for so long that I thought, well, even if it's $1 million, I still got to drive. What am I going to do? I was making driving decisions because St. Louis is so spread out.
Right.
Based on the gas prices. Maybe I'm not going to go visit my parents as much. It was expensive.
not to use a sports analogy. I know we try not to do that here, but
So
I
hard.
think it's very similar to ticket prices for sporting events.
Yeah.
The only way prices come down is when people stop going, when people stop buying the tickets. But if they keep buying these goods and services and tickets, the prices will stay high.
All right, coming up a little later on, we'll get an update on the polio outbreak in New York, what's going on in Ukraine, also a technology update a little bit later on. Up next, more from Alderman Brendan Bosley and how he wants to get police more involved.
For everything online, it's Odyssey.com. Download the Odyssey app and listen to The Dave Glover Show and all the news, talk, sports, and podcasts that move you. Odyssey, that's AUDACY.
Buying a car is just a few clicks away at Bomarito.com. Choose new or pre-owned. See it today, drive it today. Shop thousands of vehicles and even buy 100% online with Bomarito Fast Pass. Go a test drive, get financing. What's more for your trade at Bomarito, and we'll deliver your vehicle to you. A better experience, a better price, and real service after the sale. Go with the automotive leader, Bomarito, Missouri's #1 automotive group. Open 24/7 at Bomarito.com.
At 420ID.com, we make it easy to get your Missouri medical marijuana card. Dispensaries are open and inventory is in, so why wait? 420ID is the only company that provides you with a real plastic ID card and have served over 19,000 happy Missouri patients. Open late every day until 9 p.m. If we can't approve you, you pay nothing at 420ID.com. Today is the day to sign up for your Missouri medical marijuana card at 420ID.com. Use promo code RADIO and save $30 today. That's 420ID.com.
Right now is the perfect time to call Zero Res to deep clean and refresh your carpets, air ducts, upholstery, and more. Call 314-474-2020 to get 3-room Zero Res clean starting at just $129 and take $75 off your air duct cleaning. ZeroResSTL.com.
Those who've built their own financial success know that moving forward requires not just the right tools, but an in-depth knowledge of how to use them. That's why Edelman Financial Engines gives you a dedicated wealth planner supported by a team of experts. We know a modern wealth planning relationship demands human insight powered by advanced technology. Our advice is tailor-made for your personal goals, and our investment management approach is based on Nobel Prize-winning research. We model more than 38,000 securities, so we can better stress test your portfolio through thousands of scenarios. See what we can build for you. Call 888-899-4450. That's 888-899-4450. Or visit efewealthplanners.com to get your complimentary financial plan. Edelman Financial Engines. Built for those who built themselves.
Hey, it's Debbie Monterey with a question facing homeowners. Would you sell your current home if you found your dream home? Well, of course you would. And that's why you need to call Gloria Lou with your home sold guaranteed realty. Gloria has a program that eliminates the worry of selling your current home and having to find your next home with inventory being so low. Gloria is expert at finding listed and unlisted homes that match your specific criteria. Let Gloria know exactly what you're looking for, and she'll find your dream home in the neighborhood of your choice. Once Gloria finds a homeowner who may consider a sale but hasn't put it on the market yet, Gloria will inspect that home, set up a private no obligation showing, and negotiate on your behalf at no charge if you want to make an offer. If your offer is accepted, Gloria Lou will also help you sell your existing home. Learn more by calling Gloria Lou at 314-325-6888, 314-325-6888, or online at gloriahasthebuyers.com. That's gloriahasthebuyers.com.
When you want a brand new kitchen, there's nothing to it. There's a brand new way to do it. 3-Day Kitchen and Bath.
Here's another satisfied customer of 3-Day Kitchen and Bath, Anita Bennett.
When I first heard about 3-Day Kitchen and Bath, I thought, there's no way they could do a good job in 3 days, and they must carry only the plain Jane basics in cabinets, countertops, and flooring. Then they came to our house, and we found out they offered top quality materials with tons of choices and lots of custom options. They worked with us to design a bathroom that was perfect for our family. They looked at our needs and thought of details I hadn't even considered. The installation was clean, thorough, and professional, and they were done in just 3 days. When we got back from the hotel, I couldn't believe the difference. The bathroom is beautiful.
See us on the web at 3daykitchen.com.
It's about time.
3 days or less
at 3-Day Kitchen and Bath.
Serving St. Louis for over 96 years. KMOX.
Police have to have the ability to go out here and tear these streets up again. It is time for them to be able to go through our St. Louis public streets and wreak havoc on those individuals who are wreaking havoc on us. They come through here, they shoot us. We call 911, and the police come through here and try to get them. And as soon as they go 2 miles up the road, we saying, don't chase, don't chase. But what about that victim who called and said, go get him? He's right there. We got to take the handcuffs off them and tell them that they have the ability to do a job that we're asking them to do when we call them. You can't call and say, go get this person. Somebody did something to me, and then when they actually be in pursuit to go grab them, we're like, oh, don't go that fast, get them though. I know they're going 70. Just drive 45 and see what happens. That's stupid.
That's Alderman Brandon Bosley. And I got to tell you, I feel that, right? I mean, I think a lot of people do, because it's super frustrating to know what's happening, to know that there are people that are basically just more than happy to just forget about basic law and order. Who needs to register their car? Who needs to get a license plate? Who needs to stop at a stoplight? Who needs to follow? I mean, he's talking about people shooting. I do believe that the police are allowed to chase someone that has committed a violent crime. But I understand that. I can feel that frustration, because when we've talked about this issue so many times about what do, you get caught in between. And I can't even imagine the frustration of being in the middle of it and knowing that what's happening isn't going to fix the problem.
Yeah, and this was a while ago when we were talking about this exact issue about not being able to chase. And again, I understand that it's a fine line of what can we do to keep the city safe, but then also keep police officers safe and people who are in the community who have nothing to do with the chase, because they are very dangerous. So a police officer, and again, somewhere in the metropolitan area, tweeted at the show, or I should say messaged the show, all these new no chase policies that are going too far are beating down officers. Too many of us feel today like we are administrative assistants to the prosecutors instead of a real police and deterrent to crime. Also, if cameras and pick them up later, meaning we don't have to chase after them because street cameras will get them, if that were effective, there would be a heck of a lot more arrests made and charges issued. However, no, they keep running when we try to pick them up. And when eventually we do arrest them, quote, lack of evidence is all too often cited as the reason for prosecution refusal from our PA's office. So I do think there's a frustration within the law enforcement community that they're trying to keep the community safe. They're trying to make the right decision, and you're making split-second decisions in highly volatile situations that are more often than not dangerous.
So then what's the solution? Because I don't think letting people go is the right solution, but I also don't think causing high-speed chases in the middle of a city is the right solution either.
Yeah.
And so
we talked about that.
I don't know what you do. I really don't have an answer for that.
We talked about it with Dan Isom. It's a really difficult thing, and I don't know that it's ready or available at this point, but I mean, it might end up having to be a technological solution.
Has to be.
And I think it's hard because the police officers, law enforcement, the leaders have a respect for human life. But if you are a criminal and maybe you're thinking, you know what? I don't care. You're firing shots like this person was the other day, just firing shots. You could hit innocent bystanders. Obviously not the same standard of concern for human life. That also means when you're driving, you are going to take chances driving that police officers may deem, hey, this is not something that we can do. We can't go after this guy.
It's also not safe for them.
Right.
I mean, yeah, obviously we're worried about both the public and innocent bystanders, but also about the police that are doing the chasing. It's not safe for them to do it either.
So what was the technological, if I'm not mistaken, Isom was talking about cars that automatically shut off that you could somehow, like OnStar, for example, will shut off an engine. Like that was stolen, that kind of thing.
Yeah, but I mean, how long does it take to get every car outfitted with that? And
I don't know, but you got to start.
How long does it take before someone figures out the easy way to just remove that tracker? Or just to remove that device.
Make them. I guess the answer is make them.
I'm just saying that the solutions are difficult. We were talking about, I think I floated out there as one of those futuristic Minority Report things where you throw out a bunch of drones. But how? Where are you going to put them? How do you know when they're going to be? You can't have them in the air all the time. And if they are, boy, how does that work? And who's running them? Are they automated? Well, that doesn't seem to help. There just doesn't seem to be an easy, simple, just do this, which is basically what Dan Isom was telling us. There's a lot of steps that you're going to have to follow, and none of them are going to be perfect.
And prosecution isn't always the thing either, because I do believe, and I'm not saying here that the district attorney here is always on top of it, because I don't believe her to be. But I think that it's a lot of times when cases are not tried, it's not an issue of, oh, well, we just don't want to put somebody in jail. I think it's an issue of we don't have the evidence to convict. And we have a lot of other things on the docket that we need to convict and we need to try. So we're going to go with those instead because they're winners. I think that happens a lot more than you believe.
And I also think a police presence that is thinned out because they're well over 100 officers short.
Yeah.
So their presence can't be as prominent in the community. And criminals know this. They know that not only are police officers restricted in what they can do to chase after crime, but that they have to really look at a triage method of approach to crime. So low-level offenses, even more serious offenses, you're thinking, I'm going to take my chances because this police force is stripped pretty thin. They've got to focus on the big stuff. I think I can get away, and they're going to drop it because they just don't have the resources to come after me.
All right, coming up next, we're going to get an update on a polio outbreak in New York City, which is almost an impossible thing to even consider, and a few other health-related things. Dr. F. Perry Wilson is going to join us from Yale University to talk a bit about that and about his book, How Medicine Works and When It Doesn't. That'll be next after the news.
Still doing polio?
You know what? Old guy thing has ruined me, and I don't care.
There's always something new to learn about Dave Glover.
Closed captioned on my TV. it happened one time, and I was too old guy to figure out how to get rid of it. And after a couple shows, I'm like, I like this.
I can't. I know.
Here's especially the part I love, where in parentheses, it's like dramatic music playing.
It's happening right now on Let's Make a Deal. It's like cheers and applause.
I'm a closed caption guy now.
The Dave Glover Show, weekdays at 2 on KMOX.
Hello, this is Chad Clayman with ClaymanGroup.com, KLAMEN Group.com, 314-946-9999. We also are real estate agents, and a lot of times when people call, they want options, retail or wholesale directly to me. But we are listing property as real estate agents. So if you want to sell your house and you're not sure which route you want to go, we can provide you an option when you're selling. Clayman Group is where you can go. 314-946-9999. Call today so we can talk about options.
Here's a message from MSD Project Clear Know Your Zone. Heavy rains can result in flooding. If you're a homeowner, a business owner, or even a renter, MSD Project Clear wants to encourage you to protect your property from flooding by knowing your flood risk. Make the decision to protect your property. Remember, anywhere it can rain, it can flood. Visit knowyourzone.org to learn more about your individual flood risk. That's knowyourzone.org.
Hi, this is Ken.
And Laurie Heisey of Heisey Advisory Group. We're dedicated to helping individuals and families work toward their financial goals.
Join us Sundays at 9:30 a.m. for Your Retirement Highway.
Investment advisory services by individuals through AE Wealth Management, LLC.
Attention veterans. If you were stationed at Camp Lejeune between 1953 and 1987, you and your family may be victims of toxic water poisoning. Cancers, birth defects, deadly illnesses have all been linked to the contaminated water. Congress is now holding the government accountable. You could be awarded financial compensation for your suffering, but you must act now. Visit sickvets.com for your free case review by True Law. That's sickvets, like veterans.com. Sickvets.com. Visit sickvets.com.
At 10:30, sunny skies and 72 degrees downtown at the Arch. I'm Carol Daniel. Twitter whistleblower Peter Zatko was on the hot seat testifying before the Senate Judiciary Committee. He was fired as the company's security chief in January. He says Twitter lacks adequate control concerning the security of its data, saying employees have access to what he says is too much data spread over too many systems, and he accused company executives of looking the other way. Workers at the St. Charles Amazon Fulfillment Center plan to present management with a list of demands, a petition with hundreds of worker signatures calling for higher pay and better safety conditions. A delegation of workers plans to deliver the petition to their bosses tomorrow morning, asking for a boost in pay of at least $10 an hour, removal of a 3-year cap on wage increases, and creation of an on-site worker-led committee dealing with safety, among other things. KMOX teaming up with St. Louis City SC to do something special for the first game at Centene Stadium. KMOX Sports Director Tom Ackerman making the announcement on Total Information AM this morning.
KMOX will carry the first match ever at Centene Stadium when St. Louis City 2 takes on Sporting KC2 in MLS Next Pro action. It'll be this Sunday, 6 o'clock kickoff.
Want some St. Louis City SC swag? You're in luck. The team store opens today. City Goods is on the southwest corner of Centene Stadium at 21st and Market. There's a stalled vehicle, 270 southbound before Dorset Road. It's on the right shoulder, and watch for a crash 44 westbound on the ramp from Jefferson. Be prepared to stop. That could be impacting traffic for another 30 minutes. Right now, we have sunny skies and 72 degrees downtown at the Arch. I'm Carol Daniel, KMOX News.
Don't miss Farm and Home Supply's Fall into Savings event. One day only. Saturday, September 17th. Save on items inside the 2-page flyer. Like $25 off men and women's Wolverine boots. Or get a free $25 Farm and Home Supply gift card with a purchase of an Echo trimmer, blower, or chainsaw. View the ad online right now at farmandhomesupply.com.
KMOX News Time is 10:32.
It's time for a $98 AC tune-up.
Hey guys, Mike Valeni for Cash the Ticket podcast. If you like sports betting or if you just like sports, it's the podcast for you. We try to cover all the big games and maybe some of the games you didn't even know were important, give you some angles, pick some winners, have a good time, and hopefully help you meander through college and pro football season. So join us a couple times a week to get all your information you need to bet the games that you watch. It's Cash the Ticket on the Odyssey app or wherever you get your podcasts.
We are all on this planet together, so join Odyssey and find your one thing. September is World Ozone Month, so it's a great month to get rid of all your aerosol sprays and harsh cleaning products. Join Odyssey, and together, each of us doing one thing makes a greener tomorrow. What's your one thing?
Driven by the Bomarito Automotive Group, the voice of St. Louis, KMOX.
Tom Ackerman for Building Community with Busey Bank, a podcast series easily accessible at KMOX.com/communitybanking. This summer, the Little Bit Foundation lost their huge warehouse and headquarters in the flood. It's both a heartbreaking and inspirational story, with Busey and the community helping. Listen to our September podcast, Building Community with Busey Bank, at KMOX.com/communitybanking.
Carol Daniel for Chesterfield Fence and Deck, one of St. Louis's top names in home improvement. Last month, my oldest brother was visiting from Virginia and took our 91-year-old father fishing in our backyard. Man, I love those pictures so much. What a memory they made. And that's what can happen in your backyard. What should happen in your backyard? Chesterfield Fence and Deck wants to help you create the setting that will be perfect for all the memories you're going to make. The 50th birthday party on your cedar deck, the proposal your son plans to make under the pergola, and the blanket you'll crochet for your granddaughter in your custom sunroom. The project consultants and craftsmen know that's what they're designing and building for, a place to make memories. You'll get a free in-home estimate from Chesterfield Fence and Deck. Call 636-532-4054. That's 636-532-4054. Mention my name, Carol Daniel, and get 20% off your next outdoor project with Chesterfield Fence and Deck. Learn more now at chesterfieldfence.com. Chesterfield Fence and Deck, the sign you have the very best.
April 9th, 2001. Swing and a home run to left. The first Major League home run for Albert Pujols. Now,
Pujols swings and lifts a high fly ball. It's a gunner for Pujols.
the pursuit for 700 continues.
Home run. 6, 9, 7.
KMOX is Cardinals Radio.
At 10:35 on the show, Chris Ranji, Amy Marscores, Kevin Wheeler with you here. Happy to be joined by F. Perry Wilson. He is the Director and Clinical and Translational Research Accelerator at Yale, obviously a doctor. And first of all, Doctor, we appreciate your time. Thank you so much for joining us. We've got some things to ask you about today that I honestly never thought I'd have to ask anybody in 2022.
It's a little bit depressing, isn't it? But thank you for asking.
All right, so let's start with that, because I never thought that I would have to ask a doctor about a polio outbreak, but that's what we're looking at in New York City. Okay, well, I guess simple version of this is why and how do we get this back under control?
This one hits a little bit close to home. My mom had polio when she was a kid. She got it just before the vaccines came out, actually, and was briefly in an iron lung. Her left leg is paralyzed to this day, although, she's lived a long and otherwise healthy life, but this is just such a devastating disease for kids who get it. So of course, the first polio case in 10 years in the United States really hurts. This is also a disease that is potentially eradicatable, much like smallpox was, because there's no real animal reservoirs for polio. So this is something that if we got enough people vaccinated, we could actually eliminate from the earth, which I think would be a good thing. But here we are. We see a new case of polio and wastewater findings in and around New York City that show that there's clearly community spread of the virus. Now, most people with polio do not get the paralytic symptoms. That's actually quite a rare complication. Many people wouldn't even know they have it, which is why the wastewater surveillance is so important. The thing to be done is to make sure that you're vaccinated. Most of us got 3 doses when we were kids. If you did get 3 doses, you do not need a booster. So it's always refreshing to tell people they don't need a booster these days. If you had those three doses, the CDC says you're good unless you're in a very specific high-risk populations, in which case talk to your doctor. But if for some reason, you didn't get vaccinated when you were a kid, or you had an incomplete series, it's a very safe vaccine that's been used, obviously, for decades, and highly recommend that people get up to date on that.
If we eradicated polio in the United States, how did it get back in?
Well, from other countries, it only sort of this is a global world and people travel. The particular strain of polio that seems to be circulating in New York is actually, I've got to be a little bit careful with this, it's actually a vaccine-derived strain. There are two polio vaccines out there. There's an inactivated vaccine, which is what is given in the U.S., and then there's a live vaccine, which is given in certain other parts of the world, in particular because it's easier to manufacture, it's cheaper, and it's easier to store and transport. That live vaccine can very rarely cause actual polio infections, and it seems like that's what happened here, and then someone brought that into the country. I want to reiterate, that is not the vaccine that we use in the United States. We use the inactivated vaccine, which cannot cause disease, but that is what happened, and it sort of leaked back into the United States, presumably from overseas.
So is it like you said, it can be eradicated. It's just a matter of people getting vaccinated, correct? It's that simple?
Correct. As of about 5 years ago, there was just kind of a small area of Pakistan, which was the only place that there was sort of wild polio going around. And there has been a huge effort on the part of the WHO and the CDC to complete a worldwide eradication campaign. To be honest, the people I've spoken with in those areas of public health are less hopeful now than they were 5 years ago because in part because of the coronavirus pandemic and all the politicization around vaccines, it's become harder to get people vaccinated, not just against COVID, but kind of against everything. And so we may be, not successfully eradicating polio for quite some time.
So because of that politicization, and we've been talking about that a lot, of vaccines in general, we've got the new one that's out, that bivalent COVID booster that is just recently available. And a lot of people are, they're candidates to have it now. I think that, you probably want some people to wait a little bit longer, but a lot of people could get it right now if they wanted. Explain that booster to us and when you should get it.
Sure. Up until now, all the vaccines that were available in the United States targeted the spike protein of the original Wuhan strain of the coronavirus, and that's a good idea because the spike protein is the thing that binds to our cells. So if you have antibodies that can block that, then it's harder to get infected, and even if you do get infected, it's harder for the virus to spread throughout your body, make you very sick. But that spike protein has been rapidly evolving. As we all know, over the course of this pandemic, we had the alpha strain and then the beta strain and then Delta and then Omicron sort of sweep the world. And that older vaccine is targeted against an older virus, and that's not really what's circulating now. So it does make sense to update the vaccine, which is what this bivalent version is. Bivalent, you can hear the bi in there. There's two. Half of the vaccine is the old vaccine, basically. So it's targeted towards that original Wuhan strain. But the other half is targeted towards the spike protein in Omicron variants BA4 and BA5, which are the most predominant variants worldwide. And so CDC has said that anyone who's more than 2 months out from their primary series or last COVID infection and is above age 12 is eligible to get the new bivalent vaccine. The big question about this is how effective is it going to be at curbing the spread of coronavirus? And that we don't know. And it's going to depend on two things. One is, is it a good vaccine in the terms of does it provide strong immunity against the circulating coronavirus? And we think it should do okay because the prior vaccines did okay, at least preventing severe disease. But the other thing is how many people are actually going to get it. Yeah. And, we're only a week into it being available, so I haven't seen numbers to see the level of uptake. But, my feeling is zeitgeist-wise, I don't get the sense that, people are knocking down the doors of their local CVS to get the bivalent vaccine. Even though, by all measures, it seems like it's going to be quite a safe option.
Switching to other diseases, monkeypox, I know was in the news quite a bit over the past few weeks, but where are we with that? And have we been able to get vaccines to people to help slow the spread of monkeypox?
We are looking a little bit better, but I'm going to be cautiously optimistic on this. If you look at the cases in the U.S., the peak of new cases seem to occur somewhere in the second or third week of August. So we're still getting new cases at a significant clip, but at a lower rate than what we saw earlier in August. The reason I'm saying I'm cautiously optimistic is because we have a new variable in the mix, which is schools are open now. And I've been particularly actually worried about college campuses. Monkeypox spreads when people are in close contact. Doesn't necessarily have to be sexual contact, although it can be. But, close living conditions, potentially not the most sanitary living conditions, like a college campus. So I'm really concerned about outbreaks there, and we'll have to watch out for that. Vaccines have been, unfortunately, in short supply for monkeypox. The CDC has been trying some novel ideas like giving people partial doses of vaccines and stuff like that, which is less than ideal. Although I'm seeing that in somewhere around October or November, we should have a sort of larger supply of vaccines available. But right now, cases are coming down. So fingers crossed.
Okay, so let's tie this all together. You have a book coming out in January. It's called How Medicine Works and When It Doesn't, Learning Who to Trust to Get and Stay Healthy. And we definitely want to have you back on around the book time so we can talk a little bit more in detail there. But it sounds like that is going to answer a lot of the questions, or at least address a lot of the questions that we're talking about right now, is who to trust, who's going to accept the advice, how many people need to follow the advice or the protocols for these things to work.
Yeah, exactly. Thanks. Yeah, that was sort of the impetus for the book. The book is really stories about my experiences with my patients and medical research and where they kind of come together and clash. And there's so much information out there now, and it's so accessible to everyone, which is a great thing. But it can be really hard to figure out what's true, what's false. Who has an agenda, who doesn't. And the truth is in the book title there: medicine works a lot, but it doesn't always. And you've got to know how to tell which is which.
Well, we're looking forward to the book, and when we get closer to that time, we'll reach out again. Love to have you on to talk a bit more detail about what's in there and what it means for all of us. But we really appreciate your time today, Dr. Wilson. Thank you so much, and we'll look forward to talking again.
Anytime.
You got it. That's F. Perry Wilson, doctor at Yale, and his official title is Director, Clinical and Translational Research Accelerator at Yale. And as I mentioned, the book is coming out in January. It's called How Medicine Works and When It Doesn't, Learning Who to Trust to Get and Stay Healthy. Definitely want to get more into that book when it gets closer to the release, because I think that's at the core of all of these questions, right? Mm-hmm. Is who's going to take action? Who are they going to listen to? Are they going to listen to Dr. YouTube? Or are they going to listen to Dr. Wilson or somebody like him? And I'm really curious to hear his stories about that.
Me too. And I will also say, we've talked to Dr. Wilson before at the beginning of the pandemic. And what I love about his approach is he invites questions. Questions, concerns, have a really honest conversation about medicine. And I know that helped me when I was first going, okay, what do I need to know about the vaccine? Why do I feel nervous? And he said, that's normal. Let's talk it through.
Yeah. Legitimate questions are okay. And in fact, I think they should be encouraged. But when they're questions coming from a standpoint of politics, it's unuseful. It does nothing to further the conversation.
Honestly, though, you can ask those questions of a doctor.
Go ahead.
Ask a doctor those questions. And don't ask us. Don't ask your friends. Ask the doctor the questions that you have, because they very likely have answers. And if they don't, well, then you've got a whole different set of questions to ask different people. But I don't think there's anything wrong with asking your doctor.
Oh, no, absolutely.
In fact, I would argue that a lot of the problem is that people don't ask their doctors.
I agree. And I will say again, this was me being selfish, because off the air, I think back in 2021, when the vaccine first came out, I'm a runner. People know that. My lungs are important. COVID attacks your lungs. Yeah. I was nervous about COVID, but I was also a little nervous because the vaccine had just come out and I knew that I would be eligible soon. And I quite literally threw it out there and said, I'm a runner. I'm nervous. And he said, I'm a runner too. I get it. And he laid out all the reasons why, like, this is why it's a great choice to get vaccinated. And it really eased my concerns. I'm so glad I had that conversation.
So that's Dr. F. Perry Wilson. You can find him on Twitter, by the way, at F. Perry Wilson. Everything's spelled exactly the way that you would think it would be.
Except for the F.
It's spelled with an F instead of an F. We'll tell you what's trending. We'll tell you what's trending next on the show.
Hi there, it's John Hancock for First Mid Bank and Trust. They're a community-focused organization. They put so much money back into the communities where they serve. They've been around for 157 years. If you're looking for a bank, check them out. They got 19 locations here in the greater St. Louis area. Plenty of small business professionals to work with. They got insurance experts. Whether you're saving for your first home, paying off debt, or planning for retirement, First Mid Bank is the place for you. Go check them out online, firstmid.com. You'll be glad you did.
Rachel and Dave here for Smart Mouth. Smart Mouth is simply the only mouth rinse you ever need to think about again. Unlike Scope, unlike Listerine, it actually has a chemical reaction that kills bad breath for 12 hours. Use it twice a day and you are covered.
There's so many Smart Mouth products to choose from. They have their dry mouth rinse, their clinical DDS, their original formula, plus whitening toothpaste, and their delicious mints. To learn more, go to smartmouth.com/Glover for a $2.50 off coupon.
Join us in Forest Park, September 16th and 17th, to celebrate the 50th annual Great Forest Park Balloon Race, presented by PNC Bank. Attendance is free, and the number of memories and photos you can capture is endless. Visit GreatForestParkBalloonRace.com for a sneak peek at the beautiful balloon set to take flight, plus event details and directions. Sponsored by Children's Hospital, Purina, Schnucks, Airly Foods, and the voice of St. Louis, KMOX.
Hi, this is Charlie Brennan. Did you know that hot summer days can have an impact on people with dry eye and who experience itchy, scratchy eyes? The heat and dryness make tear production more important. Tears are essential for overall eye health and clear vision. Without good tear production, our eyes can become inflamed, irritated, and damaged. Such conditions can be difficult to reverse. It's important to see the doctors at Ophthalmology Associates if you're experiencing any eye discomfort. Call today at 314-966-5000. Get an appointment with Doctors Greg Birdie, Ranjan Malhotra, Robert Brusati, and Andrew Royer. They're known as the doctors' doctors because more than 250 local doctors are their patients. You can also learn more at youridoc.com. I might add, I've been a patient of theirs for more than 20 years. In Sullivan, St. Peter's, and their main headquarters, 270 in Manchester, 314-966-5000 and youridoc.com.
If you filed a tax extension in April, don't wait until it's too late to handle your tax issues. Hi, this is Lance Drury with the Drury Law Firm. Every year, thousands of Missourians file extensions when their taxes are due in April. But what people don't know is the extension only moves your deadline to file your return, not to pay your taxes. So if you didn't pay anything back in April, you could now owe taxes plus interest plus penalties. You think you bought yourself time, but really you've just added to the total bill. If this sounds like you, call the Lance Drury Law Firm today. I am a local tax attorney with an A+ BBB rating, and I will meet with you right away to help handle your tax problems quickly. The deadline to file your return after an extension has already passed, so call the Lance Drury Law Firm now before it's too late. Remember, if you have IRS issues, you have legal issues. Call Attorney Lance Drury, 314-260-6120, or go to LanceDruryLaw.com.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements.
Hi, this is Steve Butts at the Crawford Butts Insurance Agency. This year marks our 60th anniversary serving our clients and friends, a tribute to our founder and my dad, Norbert Butts. As your local independent insurance agency, we've been proud to represent many fine carriers such as Safeco, Travelers, and Progressive. So please give us a call for all your insurance needs, 314-752-2500 or CrawfordButts.com.
Get started with the Vision Walk today and form your Vision Walk team to raise money for a cure. For more information, go to visionwalk.org or call 314-852-7223.
Men suffering from erectile dysfunction or PE, regardless of age or past medical history, you'll see instant results on your first visit at Paramount Men's Medical Center. And for a limited time, your initial consultation and first treatment are totally free. Call now, 314-720-8081.
When it's hot enough to fry a chicken in a bird bath, when it's real deal Holyfield hot, Jerry Kelly knows winning means a cool, comfortable customer. Need cool like that? Make the winning call.
Thanks for calling Jerry Kelly.
JerryKelly.com. Dell Technologies semi-annual sale has arrived, and it's time to save big on PCs with Windows 11 Pro. Plus, get great deals on top accessories, including docks, monitors, and more. Dell Technologies recommends Windows 11 Pro for business. Call a Dell Technologies advisor at 877-ASK-DELL.
The show, sponsored by Straight Realty, your St. Louis area experts. Why pay more than 4? 314-441-4444. Chris Ranji.
Wonderful bones, great eyes, and you dress really interesting.
On the show.
What is it? What's happened?
What's going on? What do you know?
What just happened?
What happened?
I need to know.
Trending now on the show.
All right, Chris Ranji, Amy Marks, Scores, Kevin Wheeler with you here. Time for Trending. Trending is brought to you by Old Town Donuts in Florissant and Connellville. I'll tell you one thing that's trending real quick, and I'm still investigating why, like what's the root of this, but blank yes is trending. And the blank is a 4-letter word.
I've seen that.
And it's the one of the big ones.
Okay.
And I don't know what the root of this is, but it is trending. One of the top trends in the country.
Interesting. I don't know why. So the reason why that phrase has significance in my mind is Shalane Flanagan, when she won the New York City Marathon and was the first American woman to win the New York City Marathon in 40 years. As she crossed the line, she raised her fist in the air and yelled that. So they were making T-shirts with her silhouette.
What would you yell?
Yeah.
Heck yeah.
Heck yeah.
God.
I don't know. I mean, I wouldn't yell. I probably wouldn't yell. I'd probably just collapse.
Just collapse. Yeah. That would be me. Be like, help me.
Help me.
That would be my message at the end. Help.
I can't believe I made it. You know what else is trending today? Today is, it's Nicki Minaj. Today is the 1-year anniversary of the following tweet. Maybe you guys remember this tweet.
I know what it is.
This is from Nicki Minaj on September 13th, 2021. My cousin in Trinidad won't get the vaccine because his friend got it and became impotent. His testicles became swollen. His friend was weeks away from getting married. Now the girl called off the wedding. So just pray on it and make sure you're comfortable with your decision, not bullied.
Not bullied, but here's this really scary thing that probably didn't actually happen.
Yeah, no, it definitely didn't happen.
It was a friend of a cousin? Or
yeah,
a cousin?
It was my cousin in Trinidad.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
Won't get the vaccine because his friend got the vaccine and became impotent. Which, by the way, this is the only case of this happening in the entire world from the vaccine. So what really happened... But we don't even
know that that's the truth.
No, it didn't happen.
He could have been kicked by a horse.
What likely happened, and this is only speculation, is that he had an STD.
Yeah.
That's what happened, because that is for like chlamydia and stuff like that.
Oh, is it?
Honey, I don't know what happened.
That's his story, so he doesn't get in trouble.
Yeah,
That's
he's like, no, I took the vaccine. I got the vaccine. That's why my testicles are swollen now. It's not because I was with somebody else and got an STD. No. It's not because of that.
No,
I swear. I got gonorrhea from riding a tractor.
Oh, gosh.
Seinfeld. Again.
Really? Oh, wait, why do I not know that one? Was he riding a tractor without underpants on?
Well, he was dating a lady. Who said that she had a tractor story, and he tried to figure out the entire episode what the tractor story was. And that's what she said. They're like, I got gonorrhea from riding a tractor. That's what my boyfriend said.
That's what my boyfriend said.
So, Nicki Minaj's cousin's friend.
Nice.
You do have to be careful which tractors you ride.
But what a great look. If you're looking for a way out, if you have stepped out on your lady, oh yeah, I got the vaccine. That's why that happened.
It's the tractor.
I swear.
Yep.
I had to stop talking because I just about said 3 things that would have gotten me fired.
Can you say one of them?
No.
Yeah, say just
no.
And for good measure, Kevin, say 2.
What does it rhyme with?
Kind of with tractor.
Oh God. Yeah, save that, man.
And you may find yourself behind the wheel.
Hey guys, Glover here with my very, very good friend, Dr. Kathy Maupin at BioBalanceHealth.com. If you have reached that certain age and you're just not feeling very well and nothing's working the way it used to work, go see Dr. Kathy. She is not only a medical doctor, she is a patient of this bioidentical hormone replacement therapy. It absolutely works. It's a long-term solution. She is an artist when it comes to helping you with your hormones. BioBalanceHealth.com for Dr. Kathy Maupin.
One of the things that surprises people after they retire is how much they still owe in taxes. The good news is Steve All of the All Financial Group, he's here to show you some strategies that can lower your tax obligations both now and in the future. Call today, 636-230-8824 or online at yourmoneymattersstl.com.
Investment advisory services offered through All Financial Group, LLC, a registered investment advisor. Insurance and annuity products offered through Stephen All, Missouri license 8039738.
Well, you never know when you're going to need a plumber, but when you do, you will have one in your contacts. Open up your contact page on your phone. I'm going to give you the information to contact Beast Plumbing whenever there is a stopped-up toilet or sewer repairs or sewer and drain cleaning services you need or faucet repair. Just got word from Beast Plumbing that they have a special they don't want you to miss out on. $100 off in the month of September for a reverse osmosis system for your home or business, actually. Reverse osmosis systems produce cleaner water. It saves you money and are better for the environment. $100 off is a sweet deal at Beast Plumbing. But if you ever have a need for a plumber, whether it's a repair or you don't like the water that's coming out of the faucet, contact Beast Plumbing. They can take care of it. Beast Plumbing is also hiring customer experience coordinators, journeyman plumbers, drain technicians, and so much more. Their phone number is 314-698-1154. You can call them or find them online at beastplumbing.com. Tell them Bo sent you to Beast Plumbing. Did you put that in your contacts?
KMOX, KEZK HD2, K254CR, St. Louis.
The home of the Cardinals, KMOX. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
Spark Co-working St. Louis is a new collaborative workspace located within the PwC Pennant Building in Ballpark Village. The Spark Co-working community supports the thriving St. Louis entrepreneurial ecosystem, where you can live, work, and watch the Cardinals play all within one district. The all-inclusive workspace includes furnished month-to-month offices and suites with stadium, city, and arch views, concierge mail service, nitro cold brew coffee on tap, and so much more. Call 314-278-5297 or visit spark-stl.com.
Hey friends, Matzo Matt here for Brewpub Lots of Matzo Pizza. You know, we've had so many listeners write in online telling us about their first encounter with the Brewpub Pizza. One customer said, "My wife and I sampled your pizza at your food truck and we absolutely loved it. It's the only one we'll buy from now on." Another first timer said, "I'm not a big fan of frozen pizza, but the DJ on my radio station kept going on and on about Brewpub Pizza. So I snagged one at the grocery store. Oh my word, the rest is history. I told my whole family about it. I don't want anyone to miss out on this pizza." There you have it. Are you a first timer? If not, what are you waiting for? Brewpub Lots of Matzo Pizzas. The first time is not the last.
Mid-America's most trusted source for news. KMOX.
At 11 o'clock, it's a sunny sky and 74 degrees downtown Effie Arch. I'm Michael Calhoun. Our top story this hour, the Consumer Price Index from August is out. The good news is gas prices helped to slow inflation for a second straight month. CBS News business analyst Jill Schlesinger has the bad news.
If you are feeling the pain at the grocery store, it is clear why. The cost of food is up 11.4% from a year ago. That is the largest increase since May of 1979.
Proteins are up by 10.5% versus a year ago, while cereals and bakery products are up 17% versus the same time frame a year ago. KMOX Sports, local soccer play-by-play is coming to America's Sports Voice as City 2, St. Louis SC's minor league team, plays the first ever game inside of Centene Stadium this Sunday.
We're coming to the end of our season, as this is our last game, and we're so excited to open up the new stadium and show everyone what we've been doing all year.
John Hackworth is director of coaching for St. Louis City SC. They play Sporting KC2 with kickoff at 6 o'clock this Sunday on KMOX.
Inform your decision. Election news.
Third time's a charm. At least that might be the hope for Mark Mantovani, who ran twice as a Democrat for St. Louis County Executive, but this time he'll run as a Republican.
Every time that I have run for office, I received a lot of support from moderate Republicans. So a few of them reached out to me and said, "Hey, would you ever consider doing this?" these were not people in like the Republican hierarchy or the Central Committee. These are just folks, you know.
Last night, the Republican Central Committee chose Mantovani over several other contenders to replace Catherine Pinner. She was the voters' pick in the primary, but she dropped out of the race. A congressional panel is warning there could be more classified Trump White House records missing. CBS News correspondent Scott McFarland has that.
This is another escalation of the ongoing investigations into the records seized from Mar-a-Lago. The House Oversight Committee is now asking the National Archives to request from former President Trump a personal certification he surrendered all the records removed from the White House after he left office. And they're also urging the archives to conduct a, quote, urgent review to ensure there aren't more records unaccounted for.
The trajectory of both political parties is something KMOX alum Bob Costas is concerned with.
There is plenty to object to on the left, whatever we describe as the left or within the Democratic Party, but it's a false equivalency. The Republican Party has been turned into a Donald Trump cult. It's bat bleep crazy. It's worse.
Rewind using the Odyssey app to 9 o'clock to hear the entire hour with Bob Costas on Total Information AM. From the First Mid-Bank and Trust Business Desk, a former security chief at Twitter told the Senate Judiciary Committee that the social media platform is plagued by weak cyber defenses that make it vulnerable to exploitation by teenagers, thieves, and spies, and put the privacy of its users at risk. And the Dow from Stifel is currently down 879 points to 31,501. There's some debris on 370 West past 94. It's got the left lane closed. Crash 44 West on the ramp from Jefferson. Stall 370 West at 141. And South Ballas at 6440 going west. The right lane is closed.
Just plain wonderful is the word for our weather as we go through this Tuesday afternoon. Sunshine in control, nice temperatures, nice humidity in the 70s to near 84 the high. Tonight, clear, cool, comfortable. Evening temperatures in the 70s, 57 for the low. Not a lot of change on Wednesday or Thursday, though it's a little bit warmer each afternoon. Sunshine in control, temperatures each day about 85. I'm meteorologist Dave Murray for the Voice of St. Louis, KMOX.
Sponsored by Reinhold Flooring. Want beautiful flooring at a competitive price? Reinhold Flooring has first-class flooring products, professional craftsmen, and a knowledgeable, caring sales staff. Start your next project by scheduling a free in-home measure and consultation at reinholdflooring.com. That's reinholdflooring.com. Sunny skies, 73. Florissant, 74. St. Peter's, 74. Downtown at the Arch. I'm Michael Calhoun, KMOX News.
The show, sponsored by Straight Realty, your St. Louis area experts. Why pay more than $4? 314-441-4444.
It's 11:05 on the show. Chris Ranji, Amy Mark Scores, and Kevin Wheeler with you here. We'll be getting an update on Ukraine, what's going on there in a little bit, trying to catch up with Jeff McCausland. And when we get him, we'll put him on the line. But it has been fascinating, guys, to read the stories in the last few days, really the last week or so, about some of the tide turning a little bit. You never really know if it's going to continue in that way, but there have been some good victories for Ukraine lately, and a lot of stories coming out about how the Russians evacuated, how they evacuated so quickly, and some of the territories that the Ukrainian army has taken back now. I never know how much of those things to take totally seriously. Like one of them, there's a headline now is like, they were living like pigs while they were here. I mean, like, of course you're going to get the emotional negative version of that. And by the way, it may very well be true, but what we do know is true based on the reporting out of Ukraine is they've made some gains lately.
Yeah, the Ukraine has retaken about 3,500 square miles of territory from Russia's forces in the Kharkiv region, and Russia continued to withdraw more forces from the Kharkiv region, retreating from northeastern Ukraine, and all of that is good news. There's a quote from Ukraine's SBU intelligence service. It came out on Monday. This is the front page of the Wall Street Journal. The Russian occupiers are running so fast under pressure from Ukrainian soldiers that they're leaving whole ammunition arsenals behind. We know what to do with them and we'll be sure to use them according to purpose against the enemy. That's from Ukraine's SBU intelligence service yesterday.
Well, under-equipped, it seems like, or poorly equipped the Russian soldiers have been throughout the entire thing. I think there have been few exceptions, but it's very clear that Vladimir Putin did not anticipate the sort of pushback he was going to get when he started this thing, when they invaded the country back in February. What will be interesting is not the right word. I don't know if concern is the word, because that is there for sure, but to keep an eye on what happens next. This appears to be a bit of a turning tide in this war. I don't think it's a total tipping point, but there is concern about what Putin does next, because he's a guy who very clearly is not going to say, all right, well, it's not working out. We probably should just cut our losses and get out. What does he do next? What sort of vile thing does he decide to do next to those people that he hasn't already done? I'm sure there's something left in the bag that he hasn't gone to yet, and I hope he doesn't. But there is always that concern that he tries to up the ante a little bit more because he's losing.
Zooming out a little bit, to put this into some loose historical perspective, how often in the modern world, so let's call it the last 100 years, does an invasion of a country of that size ever work?
Well, I mean,
you could argue like
the,
World War II is probably the last time that any nation was able to just occupy other nations, even ones that are pretty sizable or powerful. I mean, France was not a third world country when Germany occupied it. I mean, it was at the time a full modern country, the whole deal. I don't know that kind of thing is possible anymore. So maybe World War II, maybe since World War II, because of the way technology is advanced, it does level the playing field a little bit. It's not just about numbers where it used to be how many tanks, how many soldiers. It is that, but it's also much more about, easier ways to counter and more alternative ways of fighting. And it's just a hard thing to do. And it's always why I never understood why they thought it would be easy. Because that's certainly how it looks like they treated it, right?
Well, I mean, in 2014, and this is different than taking over the entirety of Ukraine, 45 million people. But when Russia did invade Ukraine and occupied the Donbas region, all of that was quote unquote successful in the sense that Russia is controlling that territory. But you're right
but it's a smaller territory,
a much smaller territory than the entire country of Ukraine. And European stability is contingent on territorial integrity, that lines matter, countries matter, and to have Russia invade a sovereign nation, Ukraine, with the intent of taking it over, saying that sovereignty is illegitimate, that's the first time we've seen that in Europe on that scale since World War II.
What ultimately happens in these situations is the invading country spreads itself too thin, which is exactly what Germany did. They decide, we're going to fight a war on two fronts when they shouldn't have, but they do that, and then the next thing you know, they've bitten off way more than they can handle, and that is probably going to happen here. And this is going to be the end result of all of this. And I think I said this before when we talked about it last week. A lot of people are going to have died for no good reason.
Yeah.
That's all this is going to be, is a bunch of people who were trying to live their lives. Civilians were outright killed, or tortured and killed.
Mm-hmm.
That's what that is the end result of all of this. It will have been for nothing good.
Yeah. I mean, a pseudo-imperialist autocrat who decided that he was going to take over another country.
Disgusting.
And one huge issue too, when you're looking at a situation like this, when you have Russia, when you have a decision made by an increasingly isolated, monomaniacal dictator, you have there's no equity in the force of will versus force of power. Meaning, on paper, Russia has more people, more power, but Ukraine has force of will. They're defending their homeland. And as this war drags out, what we hope is that Russian soldiers start to lose the will and the force of will that the Ukrainian
soldiers have. That seems like that's happening now.
To continue to fight. Well, I'm right.
Yeah.
I mean, in some of these retreats, I believe it was on Sunday alone, Ukraine said that its military had retaken 30 Russian-occupied settlements, capitalizing on the panic that, again, these Russian soldiers are fleeing quickly enough that they're leaving equipment behind. And we talked about this with Colonel McCausland earlier in the year, that there is a difference between force of will and force of power.
There are stories that have come out of Ukraine, and even most recently, since this latest news broke, that you had people who were living in Ukraine, native Ukrainians who are living in occupied territories now, and the Russian soldiers there telling them things like, it's either the Russian soldiers saying this to the Ukrainians who live in the towns they're occupying, saying, it's either this or I'm back home in jail.
Right.
I'm either here fighting against you,
following my orders,
or Putin throws me in prison.
Right.
Those are my options. And I mean, what are you going to do? I guess you go fight a war, because if you go to jail, you're never getting out. As long as Vladimir Putin is in power, you're never getting out of prison. So you feel like, I'll go fight this war and hopefully I'll survive it and then come back home.
Do you do the? I'm not trying to be funny here, but you can also. It almost feels like some of it is that we've been talking about quiet quitting. Like they're there, they're doing what they're told, but they're kind of doing it in a way where hopefully I don't end up dead.
Well, I'm sure there are some Russian soldiers who are there committing acts of atrocity because they're just vile people.
Yeah.
But then I have no way to know this for sure. And this will be the kind of thing that you probably find out when it's all over, is how many of them did not want to be there at all. We saw stories of it right off the beginning of the invasion. There were, Russian soldiers, videos of them calling home and crying because the Ukrainians give them their phones. And then they call home and talking to mom. And these kids are like 20 years old and they're fighting a battle. They don't understand what they're doing there. They have no concept of why they're there in the first place.
You just described Vietnam too, by the way. Like,
yeah,
a lot of those kids are like, why are we even here? What are we doing?
I just cannot believe when you see the leadership and the rising to the moment and the occasion of President Volodymyr Zelensky, who was a comedian and an actor. I watched his show, Servant of the People. It's on Netflix. It was on Ukrainian Netflix, and now it's on U.S. Netflix, obviously with subtitles and all of that. And it's so bizarre to see him as president of the United States, or of the United States, of president.
That would be truly bizarre.
President of Ukraine. Just a handful of years before he actually becomes president of Ukraine, when Russia invades and now is leading his people through an actual land war. It's so crazy to me. And yet he's doing it with valor. He's understanding the importance of leadership, of strength, of being there with his people, not hiding away, of making himself available and visible with the videos, and also leveraging social media to get the world behind him.
He is an outstanding communicator.
Outstanding.
He's extremely impressive. He's what any world leader should be in terms of communication. He's awesome at it. And he
rallied the world.
He did.
He rallied.
He really did. He's very, very good at that.
And I'm sure that you can Vlad in that, because everybody's worried about him.
Right, but you understand that there is something to be said for a PR campaign in these scenarios.
100%. Yep.
How much can you get people talking about Ukraine? When did you say the Donbass region or Kharkiv before this invasion, and truly kept up with what is the president of Ukraine saying today? He really has rallied the world to the world that would have been most likely on his side, other than China, would be on his side. But to amplify that to the degree he did.
Speaking of that, a text message to 314-436-7900 says that Putin meeting with China is concerning. And I get that. I don't know what role China would take in affecting the turn of the affecting the battle, affecting the war, because I'm not sure how involved they really want to get. Unless it's just about sending equipment,
selling
equipment. That might be the only thing they do.
I do think this again. If the world, the IOC, the International Olympic Committee, and all of the sports world doesn't really start to look at these dictatorial regimes and their appalling and grotesque human rights abuses. We don't turn a blind eye and then just host the Olympic Games because it's all about loving everybody. Listen, we have papers or sources that have said Xi Jinping and Putin talked before the Olympics and they wanted to hold off on the invasion of Ukraine until after the Olympics because whether it's Russia hosting the Olympics or China hosting the Olympics, they use it as a way to sports wash the human rights abuses going on in those countries. And at some point, we have to say, you know what? We're not sending our athletes there anymore. We're not going to participate because it is a farce. It's a farce to pretend like everything's okay, and we just head on over to Beijing.
We actually have more on that a little bit later on. We got a couple more examples of that being added to the mix that we'll touch on a little bit later on. Up next, we got a poll from Axios about two Americas, and they asked some interesting questions. We'll talk a bit about those answers and what it looks like to us coming up on the show.
For everything online, it's Odyssey.com. Download the Odyssey app and listen to KMOX for all the news, sports, talk, and podcasts that move you. Odyssey, that's AUDACY.
If you own a house in St. Louis and you want to sell it as is, without any inspections or the need to make any repairs, call Chris Buys Homes St. Louis at 314-328-8000 or at chrisbuyshomes.louis.com and get your cash offer without any obligations, commissions, banks, or headaches. Chris buys vacant houses, inherited houses, fixer-uppers, beautiful houses, even the tenant won't pay the rent apartment. Google Chris Buys Homes in St. Louis. That's Chris Buys Homes in St. Louis, and check out the best reviews from satisfied customers. When you sell to Chris, you decide when you want to move, according to your schedule and your terms. Go to chrisbuyshomesinstlouis.com. Google Chris Buys Homes in St. Louis or call 314-328-8000. That's 314-328-8000. Call Chris and get the offer you've been waiting for. Chris Buys Homes in St. Louis.com. That's Chris Buys Homes in St. Louis.com or call 314-328-8000.
Make sure your home's heating and cooling system is in shape for the season with the community trusted service from Scott Lee Heating. Get exclusive savings on a new Lennox system. Call 314-756-9444 today or at scottleeheating.com. Conditions apply. See dealer for details.
Why are some people afraid to enjoy their retirement? And why are some people so worried about spending money during their golden years? Maybe it's because they're afraid of running out of money. Maybe they're afraid of depleting their nest egg, either through spending too much or through investment strategies that could result in losses. Hi, my name is Ken Heisey of Heisey Advisory Group. Do you have a fear of depleting your savings and running out of money too soon? Let me help put your mind at ease. I can help you create an optimal retirement income distribution strategy that helps to maximize income from your retirement savings and eliminate your fear of running out of money. Call 314-328-4400 today and schedule your complimentary retirement roadmap review with our team. That's 314-328-4400. Again, 314-328-4400.
Heisey Advisory Group provides insurance services. Investment advisory services offered through AE Wealth Management, LLC. Investing involves risk, including the potential loss of principal.
Hi, this is Charlie Brennan. If you want the best looking home in the neighborhood, call Banner Construction. You should know that Banner is a James Hardie Elite Preferred Contractor. James Hardie Fiber Cement Siding has the rich look and feel of wood. And Banner is also a Platinum Certified Pella Window Contractor. Those Pella windows are beautiful, and they come with a 30-year warranty. Since 1993, my friends at Banner have engineered their projects to go beyond the basic low-cost solutions. That's more than 25 years of experience. And now is the perfect time to plan for this important project and do what the Brennans do. Call on the experts at Banner. They're ready to help. After all, one of the safest investments you can make today is an exterior renovation to your home. And Banner Homes have timeless beauty, striking curb appeal, and ultra-low maintenance. If you take pride in your home, trust it to the team of experts at Banner Construction. Call 314-569-1050 or online, bannerconstruction.com.
Here's a message from MSD Project Clear Know Your Zone. Heavy rains can result in flooding. If you're a homeowner, a business owner, or even a renter, MSD Project Clear wants to encourage you to protect your property from flooding by knowing your flood risk. Make the decision to protect your property. Remember, anywhere it can rain, it can flood. Visit knowyourzone.org to learn more about your individual flood risk. That's knowyourzone.org.
Have you been waiting for the perfect time to get your Missouri medical marijuana card? Today is the day at 420id.com. Dispensaries are open and inventory is in. 420id.com is a BBB accredited business with over 16,000 happy Missouri patients. If we can't approve you, you pay nothing at 420id.com. Open late every day until 9 p.m. Sign up for your Missouri medical marijuana card now at 420id.com and use promo code RADIO for $30 off today.
Connect with KMOX on air, online, 1120 a.m., 98.7 FM, KMOX.com.
All right, Tuesday on the show, Chris Ranji, Amy Markscores, Kevin Wheeler with you here. I mentioned in the tease before the break that we're going to talk a bit about some new polling from Axios, and we've talked a lot. I think quite a bit, and maybe not. I don't think too much, but definitely talked a good bit about kind of what's emerged as a two Americas picture. Right, we have two different views of how things actually work, and there are constantly stories and polls and people examining that and trying to figure out what it means. How do we get people back on somewhat of a same page? How do we all read the same book? We should all be reading The Grapes of Wrath. Like, we should all be reading the same book. Sorry, Amy. Sorry,
You know what? I think we're all reading The Grapes of Wrath, but we're each highlighting different parts.
That's a good one. Like, that may be a good way to look at it. We're taking completely different meanings from it. That's for sure. And there's some interesting questions posed in the polling. So we'll run through the questions without giving you the answers yet and just kind of go off the top of our heads what you would expect. So one of the questions posed in the Axios poll was, and again, this is about the percentage of United States adults that agree with these statements. So if I put this statement out there, strong unelected leaders are better than weak elected leaders, what would your response be to that?
Well, I think my first response is, what do you mean by a strong leader? But secondly, I guess
my response is no, because I'm thinking unelected leaders, like a strong dictator, and so my response would be no. But again, what is the context, the entirety of the questions? Because if you spent 5 previous questions asking me about the Supreme Court or appointees who aren't elected,
but they're also not leaders.
They're not leaders.
They are not meant to lead. They are meant to decide issues.
Yeah. So my first reaction is no.
I mean, I guess if you're talking about somebody like Martin Luther King Jr., somebody like that would be considered an unelected leader.
That's fair.
Right?
That's fair. Yeah.
No,
yeah.
I thought it. Okay.
Well, right? I mean, that could be
I
because
thought
you're
you meant leader
leading.
like a president.
Well, you know what my takeaway from all this is? This is a really dumb question.
It is kind of a dumb
very,
question,
and it's very
But
poorly
I
worded,
think-
and it's not helpful.
I'm with Amy on something. I think most people take it as, for example, Donald Trump right now is not an elected leader.
Correct.
But he's leading a lot of people
and I
anyway.
think that's where the voting shows us that it's going. So 42% of Republicans said that, yes, they agree with that they would rather have a strong unelected leader than a weak elected one. And then 31% of Democrats also said that.
See, I might be interpreting it wrong, and I'll just give you.
This
again
is
what
the problem, though. This
Yeah.
shouldn't be open to interpretation. Ask a better question.
Because I think Biden is a weak leader. That's just in my mind. But I would much rather have Biden than Xi Jinping, who I guess knows what he wants as in enforcing the rules. I look at it as a dictatorship thing.
This is the problem. There are so many problems with this question. First, the juxtaposition that, why isn't there an option for a moderately solid elected leader versus a strong, and what does strong or weak even mean in this context?
That's what I want to know.
Does it mean you talk crap? Because talking crap is not being strong. It's
Right.
just talking crap.
Yes.
Being
Right.
strong is taking care of what needs to get taken care of. This is the whole thing. Like, people are like, be a man. You know what being a man means? It means taking care of your business. It doesn't mean being macho.
That's 100% correct.
It doesn't mean being
That's
like,
right.
I'm going to flex, man, because I'm a dude. Like, it's about taking care of what needs to be
That's right.
done. That is what it means to be, quote, a man or a leader. And
Right.
why we pose this question in this way is just nonsense.
Well, I don't know, but I think that what people are talking about when they answer this question is I think the 42% or the majority of the 42% are talking about Trump. That's what I think.
For sure.
In
All right.
this particular poll.
So let's take the next question. We'll do this quickly. It says the scenario put forth is presidents should be able to remove judges whose decisions go against the national interest. 29% of Republicans said yes. 42% of Democrats. What are we doing?
Mm-hmm.
First of all, again, define national interest, because I think there's a lot of there's a spectrum of things that follow national interest. One of them
Who
to me
defines that?
But one of them to me would be not just removing people because you disagree with them. What in the hell? That's a horrible reply.
Yeah, it's not great.
Well,
I think
also,
what's going
it's
on there.
Unconstitutional.
Yeah, and
Yes.
I think what's going on there is people feel like at least 2 of those seats were taken away from them, which I get, because they didn't allow Obama to bring in Merrick Garland a year before the election, but Trump got to do it like less than a month?
Yeah.
Before?
By the way, how about this? Government should side with the majority over ethnic or religious minority rights. 39% of Republicans, 38% of Democrats agree with that. Now, good thing is it's only about a third of the country, but those third are really loud.
There's another third of something here we need to talk about.
Have you heard the news?
I'm Megan Lynch. These are the stories making news.
Start your day with Total Information AM.
I'm Debbie Monterey.
And I'm Tom Ackerman. Debbie, Tom, and Megan bring you St. Louis's news.
What, Missouri's new voting laws?
Traffic from Roger Brand.
Busy on the highways.
And the latest forecast.
And thank you with the meteorology scene before.
At 8.
I'm Carol Daniel.
And I'm Tom Ackerman.
It's Total Information AM expanded with more news, interviews, and in-depth story coverage.
COVID boosters.
Total Information AM on 98.7 FM, 1120 AM, and the Odyssey app.
When you want a brand new kitchen, there's nothing to it. There's a brand new way to do it. 3-Day Kitchen and Bath.
Maureen talks about her experience using 3-Day Kitchen and Bath.
I had for years been dreaming how I wanted my kitchen down to every detail. When 3-Day Kitchen and Bath came, they were thrilled to death that I knew exactly what I wanted. They came back with a drawing and it was perfect. It was exactly what I wanted. They came in, they did their thing, and it turned out as perfect as I imagined it. The quality of it is beautiful. It's amazing. It is beautiful. They were efficient. They were trustworthy. The recommendations were unquestionable. And they were going to do exactly what I wanted. I had a lovely experience.
Start your remodel today by visiting 3daykitchen.com.
At 3-Day Kitchen and Bath.
I'm in a test plot near Portageville, Missouri that's dedicated to new Pioneer brand A-Series and List E3 soybeans. Row to row, it looks impressive. But what's more impressive is what you can't see with the naked eye. Exclusive and elite Pioneer genetics. And the performance makes it anything but a regular Enlist E3 soybean. From field to lab, Pioneer brand A-Series and List E3 soybeans are like no other.
Knapheide Manufacturing Company seeks a full-time data analyst 2 in Quincy, Illinois. The position requires a bachelor's degree plus 2 years of experience or a master's degree in data analytics or related. You will use Tableau, data transformation, warehousing and optimization, SQL, Python programming, statistical models, ML, and DL to liaison between data explorers and developers. Send resume to jbeeler@knapheide.com and reference job 6006. No calls, agents, or visa sponsorship, please.
At 11:30, it's sunny and 76 degrees downtown at the Arch. The numbers from the August Consumer Price Index are out. CBS News business analyst Jill Schlesinger breaks down the numbers.
Overall, the pace of price increases is slowly coming down. The headline Consumer Price Index came in at 8.3% from a year ago in August. That's down 0.2% from July and off the 40-year high of 9.1% in June.
The coffin of Queen Elizabeth II has left St. Giles Cathedral in Edinburgh to begin her final journey through Scotland to a Royal Air Force plane that will carry her back to London. KMOX is the voice of the Cardinals, but this Sunday we're the voice of St. Louis City SC.
It's soft opening with 10,000 fans. So it's going to be that's a credit to all our fans. You know, we have so many season ticket holders.
John Hackworth is director of coaching for the MLS franchise. KMOX will give play-by-play of City 2's match against Sporting KC2 this Sunday. Kickoff at Centene Stadium is set for 6 o'clock. And right now on the roads, we've got a stall 270 south on the ramp from Missouri Bottom Road. Some debris on 370 west past 94. The left lane closed. Weather is sponsored by Farm and Home Supply. And for today, sunny and nice at the high of 79. Clear sky tonight, low 56. And for Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, high between 85 and 89. Mostly sunny, warmer in the afternoon. It's 76 at the moment downtown at the Arch. All the news you need for your day is on the free Odyssey app. Download it now. I'm Michael Calhoun, KMOX News.
Sponsored by Mosby Building Arts.
Mosby Building Arts here, asking what your dream bathroom looks like. Glam and gorgeous, modern and masculine, beachy and bodacious. One thing's for sure, nobody's style is old and ugly. So do yourself a favor and call Mosby for a brand new bathroom that's just your style.
All right, guys, I want to talk pizza. It's one of my favorite topics. I have a lot of favorite topics. That's one of them. And I want to do is give you a suggestion when you go to the grocery store next time, whether it's today, tomorrow, whatever, but definitely before the weekend when you're going to sit down and watch baseball, college football, pro football, whatever. When you've got time to get to the store, check out the freezer aisle. You know where all the frozen pizzas are. And you need to check out the Brew Pub Lots of Matzo Pizza. Don't just check it out. Do that first, but then go buy it. Because, first of all, it's fantastic. The toppings are wonderful. There are a lot of them. You're not going to open this up and be like, okay, so there's nothing but crust and sauce. There's a ton of cheese. In fact, a half pound of award-winning Wisconsin mozzarella cheese on every pizza. You have all different types of styles and choices. The one I haven't had yet is the Alfredo. That may be on the list for this weekend. I did the bacon cheeseburger this past weekend. I love the Hawaiian, the traditional sausage and pepperoni and cheese pizzas. All available there as well. And you'll notice that they are in the clear wrapping because they have nothing to hide. They're showing off. I mean, that's what they're doing. They want you to see all of that cheese. They want you to see the toppings because that's the selling point. It was for me. It will be for you too. Next time you're at the store, get yourself to that freezer aisle. Take a look at the Brew Pub Lots of Matzo Pizzas. And, just keep a few on hand, man. I'm going to tell you from personal experience, from the reviews I've gotten from friends, you're not going to go wrong. Check them out. Brew Pub Lots of Matzo Pizza.
Hi, Kent Newbold for Newbold BMW. Your BMW is worth more than ever before, so don't trust your maintenance to a bunch of amateurs. Come see the factory-trained technicians at Newbold BMW in O'Fallon, Illinois, or at newboldbmw.com. You'll be sold on Newbold.
Driven by the Bomarito Automotive Group, the voice of St. Louis, KMOX.
Hi, this is Steve Butts at the Crawford Butts Insurance Agency. This year marks our 60th anniversary serving our clients and friends, a tribute to our founder and my dad, Norbert Butts. As your local independent insurance agency, we've been proud to represent many fine carriers such as Safeco, Travelers, and Progressive. So please give us a call for all your insurance needs, 314-752-2500 or crawfordbutts.com.
April 9th, 2001.
Swing and a home run to left. The first major league home run for Albert Pujols.
Now,
Pujols swings and lifts a high fly ball. It's a gunner for Pujols.
the pursuit for 700 continues.
Home run, 6, 9, 7.
KMOX is Cardinals Radio.
$11:35 here on a Tuesday on the show. Chris Ranji, Amy Mark scores, Kevin Wheeler with you here. Happy to be talking tech with Ian Scher. He is editor-at-large for CNET. Obviously writes about a lot of things involving technology, social networking, virtual reality. I would like to talk games with you, Ian, but my co-hosts would not approve of that conversation. So we'll be talking about other tech-related issues. Thanks for coming on, man. How you doing?
I'm doing all right. How are you?
Pretty good. I'd be better if we were talking to video games, but I'm not going to do that to Ranj and Amy. We do want to start with this airdropping thing. We had the story not that long ago of a passenger airdropping nude pictures to everyone on the plane. We've had some other. I believe there are some folks in the radio business that are using airdrop to reach people for podcasts and things along those lines. Talk to me about this and what are the conversations around people being able to or trying to do these things with people that may not be interested in receiving those things?
Yeah, so AirDrop is essentially a technology that Apple developed many years ago to easily send files back and forth between a computer and a phone or two computers or whatever else. And the way it works is that it's designed to actually be when you're nearby someone. So You can set it up so that you can only receive an airdrop from a contact, or you can set it up to be publicly accessible and anyone can airdrop anything to you. So one of the things that's happened, unfortunately, is that it seems like with every new technology that comes out there, someone comes up with a new way to use it to flash people. And that's exactly what's going on in this case, is that there are people who are essentially, in public spaces, airplanes, whatever, and finding other phones that are airdrop public. So you can, they receive images or documents or whatever, and they're sending private pictures to those people unrequested.
And now, just to clarify, the people who are at risk of receiving these unwanted pictures would be iPhone users who have public airdrop option open.
Yes, exactly. Okay. So you have to actually turn it on. But a lot of people tend to, in my experience, tend to turn it on because they're trying to use it for something else, right? Be able to send a file back and forth with a friend, and then they just leave it on. And that's usually how this ends up happening. And it's become enough of an issue that we're talking about it, right? We've heard stories about it in the news. As you pointed out, there was an airplane where the pilot literally threatened to turn the airplane around because it was such a big issue. And so this seems to be something that's just ongoing, which is frustrating.
So what laws apply here? I mean, if you try to send a photo that's, you're trying to flash somebody with airdrop, what laws apply to you? That's still a crime, is it not?
Well, the reason that I use that word is because there's increasingly efforts to essentially bring digital laws up with the real world, right? If you were to suddenly undress in front of someone when they didn't want you to, that would be a crime, right? You could be arrested flashing someone. Well, the similar thing is now being attempted to turn into a crime in many states. This is something that has been a huge problem, right? Unfortunately, there are many people who think it's okay to send pictures of their private parts around to people who did not ask for them. And they either think it's funny or they think something else about it. And obviously, it's not okay. And this is why we're starting to see laws written on the books.
And we are seeing legislation lags behind technology and people's ability to abuse technology as well. What about advertisements? Nothing inappropriate, but just this idea that an insurance agent or a radio show could be in a room and airdrop an advertisement onto unsuspecting people within that area.
Yeah, I mean, look, the reality is that a lot of these technologies are built with the assumption of good faith, right? They're assuming that all of us are waking up every day and wanting to do right by everyone. And unfortunately, people do act in bad faith. And that's another example of how it can work. And look, I've seen all sorts of stuff happen. I remember when AirDrop first started, people would go to conferences and airdrop a text message saying, I was able to hack into your phone, even though they really couldn't. So, it's like, this is something that unfortunately is just part of the system. Now, you can argue, well, Apple, maybe you shouldn't allow public airdrops and only allow it to be with people who are contacts. That would significantly cut down on this problem. But then, of course, it diminishes what that technology is designed for. And obviously, people are using the public option for legitimate reasons. And that's part of why this tension still exists.
Ian Sherr is with us, editor-at-large at CNET. Obviously, here we're talking a bit about the problems that have come up with airdrops. Now, I feel like I'm maybe oversimplifying a question, but that's all right. You'll determine that. But if we have control over these things, then what is the real problem? I mean, because if you want to turn it on, turn it off, like, for example, you're at a conference and you want to get things in that, but then when you leave, you turn it off. I do this with some of the features on a regular basis. Is it just a matter of making people aware that, hey, you probably need to be paying attention to those? Or is that maybe asking too much for people to do?
Well, to a degree, it is in our control, absolutely. But I would kind of preface this kind of thinking about it in terms of some other technologies that we've seen where, you can easily say, well, the person can take care of that. Why don't we just put it on them to deal with it? So one of the examples is that in Venmo, when you are using, that app. It's an ability to send cash to and from friends. It asks you to leave a message whenever you send the money. Well, that's usually by default public. So suddenly everyone can see what you're doing when you are sending money back and forth with your friends. And, a lot of people say, why don't you make that private by default? And then if someone wants to share it with the entire wide world, then make it public. A very similar question happens with something like Tesla's full self-driving beta, right? Where supposedly the cars can drive themselves, even though they actually can't, and you have to be involved and have your hands near the steering wheel. But again, right, it's something you have to turn on. You actually have to pay for it. But there's a lot of people who push back and say, well, wait a minute, people have literally died using this technology. Is it really okay to be selling it? I think, it's very different, obviously, with AirDrop, but I think there's an argument to be made that, well, if this is being abused so much, maybe there's a question about whether or not it legitimately should be there.
Great point.
And I have a question. This is off the AirDrop topic, but something I've seen floating around. I use Twitter all the time. I love it or hate it. I think both. I love it and I hate it at the same time. And yet I keep hearing about the Twitter whistleblower. And that's about as much as I know.
That's okay. That's why I have a job, right?
That's the extent of my knowledge.
It's okay. Look, there are so many tech whistleblowers at this point. It's almost impossible to keep track of them, even if you're doing what I do every day and keeping a track of them. So the latest whistleblower actually is a guy who has said that Twitter's security is really bad. And in fact, he just finished speaking to the Senate earlier today. Of course, we have a story on CNET. You could watch the video if you want. And essentially where he said, look, the company is lying to a lot of us, not just in the public, but even to its own board of directors about how it handles security and how appropriately it runs its business. And to a lot of people at this point, probably not a shock, right? I doubt that many people gasped when they heard that. But I think also it says something that these whistleblowers keep showing up. And also, on the other end of it, that the Senate really hasn't done anything, right? They've had dozens of hearings about the tech industry, and they've yelled at Mark Zuckerberg, the CEO of Facebook. They've yelled at Jack Dorsey, the former CEO of Twitter, and they have not actually passed any laws. So that's why you keep hearing about it, and also why, unfortunately, a lot of us kind of roll our eyes because not much seems to have happened yet.
Regarding not much legislation passing, is some of that because I'm guessing a lot of the tech rules are just way over the head of the legislators?
There's definitely an aspect of that. I mean, one of my favorite moments was when Mark Zuckerberg was speaking to Congress for the first time. He was pulled in front of them for at the time, the latest security privacy scandal that since has become one of many. And he was actually asked how Facebook makes money, and his response was, "Senator, we run ads," right? And that became a rallying cry inside of Facebook because it said something about how honestly uninformed Congress people are, and also how little the government understands about how Facebook works. There is efforts to make that better, of course, and Congress, to its credit, has tried to have better hearings where they don't ask the dumb of questions. But it is a problem. It's a real problem.
After Russia invaded Ukraine earlier in the year, in March, Apple said they weren't going to make any of their new products available to Russians, but now they've decided they're going to. What's behind that decision, and how big of a deal is it?
Well, the behind the big deal is the question mark, right? I mean, obviously, the international politics is a huge, huge issue in and of itself, right? And Russia on its own is its own huge issue. I mean, there are literally people who have spent their lives studying the relationship between Russia and the United States. And so I think the key question here is whether or not the Apple has made the determination that selling iPhones to Russians is a net negative or positive, not just to Apple, but also to the war, right? And what's going on, right? Is it really doing anything to punish Russian people when it's an authoritarian regime where the government makes decisions that may not be something that people agree with, and they don't really get to vote about it, right? So I think that might be part of it. I honestly can't speak to it. I haven't really gotten inside the head of the people at Apple. Admittedly, that's a topic that doesn't get talked about very often inside of Apple, right? It's something that's being decisions made by a few people. But I think also I'm curious to see whether the government makes any moves about that, right? Because they have pushed back on tech companies selling, for example, artificial intelligence chips to China, who we're not involved in a war with. But I think it speaks to the fact that, this is very complex and unfortunately very, kind of meaty stuff that requires a lot of nuance.
So about that new iPhone, the announcement was made, the new iPhones, the new watches. I know people are a lot of iPhone users in this country. What are your thoughts on the product? And also, are they going to get rid of the green bubble thing so people stop ostracizing me because I have an Android?
Ian, can you tell him to just get an iPhone for us?
I'm not getting an iPhone.
Right. No, look, nobody's perfect, and that's just part of the way life is.
Here we go. Here we go.
But,
no more Ian on this show.
Are the green bubble of doom,
Well,
Ron?
shut up with your green bubble.
Right. But then look, I mean, it shows how successful Apple's been at getting everyone to make a cultural thing out of it.
Oh, yeah, all you sheep? That's what it is.
Yes, exactly. The people and everything else. I get it.
Yeah.
So look, the thing is that as far as the iPhone 14 first, we are reviewing it at CNET, obviously. The first indications are that it's pretty cool, right? If Apple lives up to what it's promised, which it typically does, I imagine it'll get pretty good reviews. But those are always question marks, right? We have to put it through its paces. And one of the things I love about CNET is how many paces we put it through, right? Not just testing the software and the photos. We have amazing photographers who know how to look at these things and know whether they're good. But we even, for example, last time when they promised that the screen was better, we ran it over tile. We tried to scratch it. We used 80 grit sandpaper on it. So, we make sure that they're living up to what they promised. As far as the green bubbles, unfortunately, Tim Cook, the CEO of Apple, was actually asked about this just recently, and his response was convince that person to buy an iPhone.
Right? Oh, I hate him. I hate him so much.
They really enjoy being, having their noses in the air about it.
I hate him. I hate Tim Cook.
Yeah. Well, you have to understand. Ron. You just have to understand, Ian. Ranji hates everybody. Yeah. And that's just
I get it. It's okay.
I love Ian. He's just not invited on anymore.
Well, we are a democracy in the studio. Two of us are going to invite you back in. So we really appreciate this. You're awesome. And I swear next time I'm throwing in at least a question about gaming. But we appreciate you, man. Thanks for doing this.
Anytime. Absolutely. Take care.
You got it. Ian Sherr from CNET. You'll find him on Twitter, by the way, at his name, at Ian Sherr. It's Sherrr. All right, coming up next, apparently Amy has a gross feet story to tell us.
Yes.
That's what we're teasing. Gross foot story. Next on the show.
Lockheed Martin understands what it takes to accomplish critical missions around the globe. They know it begins with long-standing partnerships rooted in expertise, interoperability, and trust. The most critical missions call for the F-35. It is essential to Allied air power. Across the growing community of F-35 nations, the need for alliance-based deterrence against evolving threats is stronger than ever. Lockheed Martin, your mission is ours.
Capital One presents Entertainment Reimagined. Director Michael Mann is out with a sequel to his 1995 film Heat. But Heat 2 is a novel, not a movie.
I really wanted to do more with this three-dimensional understanding of these people and then also project them into the futures that they might have.
No fees or minimums and no overdraft fees are another reason banking with Capital One is the easiest decision. What's in your wallet? Terms apply. See CapitalOne.com/bank. Capital One NA. Member FDIC.
Join us in Forest Park, September 16th and 17th to celebrate the 50th annual Great Forest Park Balloon Race, presented by PNC Bank. Attendance is free, and the number of memories and photos you can capture is endless. Visit GreatForestParkBalloonRace.com for a sneak peek at the beautiful balloon set to take flight, plus event details and directions. Sponsored by Fox 2 and KPLR 11. Visit Mo.com, STL Made, and the Voice of St. Louis. KMOX. If you owe the IRS, you have a legal issue, and you need the Lance Drury Law Firm. We'll protect your rights. Log on at LanceDruryLaw.com.
I'm back to doing what I love and more, thanks to the Good Feet Store.
Hi, this is Arnold, owner of the Good Feet Store. Do you want to walk and stay healthy, but cannot because you are in pain?
I just had difficulty walking. I could not walk in bare feet at all.
Do you keep buying new shoes and inserts from the drugstore with little or no relief?
I tried all kinds of shoes. It was the arch supports that made the difference from the Good Feet Store.
The Good Feet system fits in all your shoes, so come to the Good Feet Store and become pain-free today.
Call 314-317-9494 or visit one of our 2 locations on Olive, Catty Corner from TGI Fridays, or in Shiloh, Illinois, across from Deerbergs.
Thanks to the Good Feet Store.
Individual results may vary. Consult your physician for medical conditions. Visit the website goodfeetstlewis.com. Come in and try the Good Feet feeling today. Comfort, energy, performance, and pain relief at the Good Feet Store.
Attention veterans. If you were stationed at Camp Lejeune between 1953 and 1987, you and your family may be victims of toxic water poisoning. Cancers, birth defects, deadly illnesses have all been linked to the contaminated water. Congress is now holding the government accountable. You could be awarded financial compensation for your suffering, but you must act now. Visit sickvets.com for your free case review by True Law. That's sickvets, like veterans.com. sickvets.com. Visit sickvets.com.
This time of year, you might notice that the brick in your patio is going astray. Call Morelli. Hi, this is Charlie Brennan for Morelli Tuck Pointing, which has won every award possible in this industry, including the Better Business Bureau Torch Award, which is only given to companies with exceptional customer service. Morelli Tuck Pointing is the masonry specialist, serving St. Louis and beyond for 31 years. Morelli can do completely solid houses and buildings, spot pointing with color match, brick and stone repair, foundation repair, walkways, porches, patios, caulking, waterproofing solutions, and much more. Family owned and operated, and a lot of longtime employees that are like family. Call and request a free and quick estimate at 314-645-1387 or online at MorelliTuckPointing.com. And don't forget to check out their great reviews on the Google and Better Business Bureau websites. 314-645-1387 or MorelliTuckPointing.com.
Hey guys, Glover here, and I see clearly thanks to Doctors Birdie and Malhotra, and you can too. Go to youridoc.com today or call 314-966-5000.
Join the Foundation Fighting Blindness at the St. Louis Vision Walk on Saturday, October 1st at Creve Coeur Lake Park to help find cures to diseases that cause blindness. Visit visionwalk.org.
Men suffering from erectile dysfunction or PE, regardless of age or past medical history, you'll see instant results on your first visit at Paramount Men's Medical Center. And for a limited time, your initial consultation and first treatment are totally free. Call now, 314-720-8081.
We're all on this planet together, so join Odyssey and find your one thing. Fruits and vegetables are very environmentally friendly foods. Make them even more friendly by eating them in season. Join Odyssey, and together each of us doing one thing makes a greener tomorrow. What's your one thing?
The show, sponsored by Straight Realty, your St. Louis area experts. Why pay more than 4? 314-441-4444. Amy, Chris, and Kevin.
The greatest radio talk show host ever.
Now, more of the show.
I've got like 2 minutes to tell the grossest story
I
ever.
was just going to say, Amy, you have apparently a nasty foot story to tell. Go.
I should have said, okay, here's the thing. It's not my story. It's my friend's
Oh,
story.
of course, it always is.
Yes.
A friend of mine.
Yes.
Just like your friend's cousin in Trinidad.
It's not that friend. This was a friend flying last week. And as the plane began its descent, they tell you about 25 minutes ahead of time, right? That you need to start preparing for landing. The man next to him gets out some hand lotion. And, flying does make your skin dry. It's very dehydrating. And he puts the hand lotion on his hands, but he's very meticulous to make sure that he rubs the hand lotion like into each cuticle and each nail, which my friend said, okay, I guess I respect it. This guy takes very good care of his hands. He then proceeded to remove his shoes. And then he removed his socks. And then he put the lotion on his feet.
Puts the lotion on its feet.
And he rubs the lotion onto his feet with like paying attention to the cuticle of each toenail, rubbing the lotion on each toenail, and then puts his hand flat on the bottom of his foot and rubs in between his toes.
You have to.
With all his fingers.
You have to.
Gets all the lotion on, puts his socks back on, his shoes back on, then closes the tray table, unbuckles, gets up, takes out his bag. So he has touched everything in that seat with his little in between the toes lotion fingers.
The only objection I have is that he put his feet right back in the socks and shoes. It's too greasy to put your stuff in.
That's a disgusting. I would have thrown up.
Well,
I would have thrown up.
You got to take your shoes off if you're gonna lotion your feet.
Who does that?
Yeah, probably not ideal, but also not gross. Just
Kevin!
Your friend should have offered to help.
It's disgusting.
Everyone has feet. They're not foul.
On an airplane?
No, I wouldn't do that on an airplane, but come on, man. That ain't gross. It's just inconsiderate.
Gross.
It's kind of gross.
Colonel Jeff McCausland will join us after the news, give us a real update on what's going on in Ukraine.
This is Corey from Air Comfort Service Heating and Cooling, here to tell you about an organization that is near and dear to our company and one we've been proud to sponsor, Greater St. Louis Honor Flight. Greater St. Louis Honor Flight flies World War II, Korea, and Vietnam War veterans to Washington, D.C. for free to see their memorials. Greater St. Louis Honor Flight is looking for you. If you know of a veteran, please sign them up for their honor flight, or if you'd like to lend your support, visit gslhonorflight.org. And for all things heating and cooling, visit aircomfortservice.com. That's aircomfortservice.com.
Hey friends, Mott's Matt here for Brewpub Lots and Lots of Pizza. You know, we've had so many listeners write in online telling us about their first encounter with a Brewpub Pizza. One customer said, my wife and I sampled your pizza at your food truck and we absolutely loved it. It's the only one we'll buy from now on. Another first timer said, I'm not a big fan of frozen pizza, but the DJ on my radio station kept going on and on about Brewpub Pizza. So I snagged one at the grocery store. Oh my word, the rest is history. I told my whole family about it. I don't want anyone to miss out on this pizza. There you have it. Are you a first timer? If not, what are you waiting for? Brewpub Lots and Lots of Pizzas. The first time is not the last.
This is a call to the self-starters, to the self-made, and the self-sufficient. It's time to declare a new kind of independence. Because Edelman Financial Engines is here to provide tailored investment solutions for your kind of wealthy. You should expect more from your wealth advisors. Our investment management approach is based on Nobel Prize-winning research, and our planners don't sell products to earn commissions. And because we're here for those who question the answers, we model more than 38,000 securities so we can better stress test your portfolio through thousands of scenarios. So no matter where you're going next, see what we can build for you. Call 888-899-4450. That's 888-899-4450. Or visit efewealthplanners.com to get your complimentary financial plan. Edelman Financial Engines. Built for those who built themselves.
KMOX, KEZK HD2, K254CR, St. Louis.
The legendary voice of St. Louis, KMOX. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
Giving credit where credit is due, Reinhold Electric has been my electrician for many years, and they should be yours too, and St. Louis agrees. Reinhold Electric was just voted 2022 STL Headliner's Best Electrician by the readers of STLtoday.com and the Post-Dispatch. So when your community all agrees that you are the best of the best, that's who you want on your job. Whether it's getting professional expert service for upgrading service panels, running power, repairing and updating lighting to the new LED lamps that save you money, installation of new systems, data and phone lines, backup generators, and they service those too. Or maybe you're trying to do better lighting in your parking lot. For homes and businesses all around the St. Louis metro area and beyond, rely on Reinhold Electric. Call them anytime at 314-631-1158. That's 314-631-1158. Online at reinholdelectric.com. That's reinholdelectric.com. Tell them Bo sent you to St. Louis's best electrician, Reinhold Electric.
Mid-America's most trusted source for news, KMOX.
At 12 o'clock, it's sunny and 76 degrees downtown at the Arch. I'm Michael Calhoun. The news is sponsored by Michael's Flooring Outlet, the flooring experts, michaelsflooringoutlet.com. Our top story this hour, inflation slowed in August for a second straight month.
Consumer prices rose again sharply, 8.3% compared with a year earlier. But that was down from the jumps in July and June, when inflation hit a four-decade high, 9.1%. A steep drop in gas prices led the way, with the nationwide cost for a gallon averaging $3.71. But inflation overall remains painfully high. Federal Reserve Chair Jerome Powell has said the central bank will need to see several months of low inflation readings before it might slow its aggressive interest rate hikes. The Fed's expected to again sharply boost its benchmark short-term rate next week. Sagar Magani, Washington.
America's Sports Voice, KMOX, will broadcast the first ever game played at Centene Stadium this Sunday. St. Louis City SC Director of Coaching John Hackworth says it'll be the minor league team, City 2, on the field.
Hopefully, we'll have more games. We have to take care of business on Sunday, but if we do, then we'll host the first round of the playoffs, and potentially more fans could be let in. So, that's a work in progress.
Hear the game against Sporting KC2 Sunday, 6 o'clock on KMOX. Mark Montavani ran for St. Louis County Executive twice before and lost. Why does he want to do it again?
Well, because I guess I'm not satisfied with the way things are going in St. Louis County. I have some of the same concerns that I have had for years.
Montavani says most people in the county are frustrated that county leadership spends its time on silliness and petty squabbles. He ran twice as a Democrat, but last night the Republican Central Committee chose him to replace Catherine Pinner on the November ballot. She won the Republican primary but dropped out of the race. The dramatic advance of Ukraine's army is causing some public anger in Russia. Ukrainian troops have recaptured an estimated 2,000 square miles of territory in recent days. CBS News national security consultant Jeff McCausland.
Well, this is the most significant offensive operation, certainly by the Ukrainians, since the onset of this war, probably, or at least since they were able to drive the Russians back in early March as they advanced on Kyiv. And depending on the reports you read, they have now recovered a land area roughly the size of the state of Delaware, or about 10% of all the land that the Russians have occupied since the war began.
The First Mid-Bank and Trust business test. Twitter whistleblower Peter Mudge Zatko is testifying before the Senate Judiciary Committee. Zatko, who was fired as the company's security chief in January, says Twitter lacks adequate control over its data.
They don't know what data they have, where it lives, or where it came from. And so, unsurprisingly, they can't protect it. And this leads to the second problem, which is the employees then have to have too much access to too much data and to too many systems.
Lawmakers say his accusations are troubling. Twitter says he paints a false narrative. The Dow from Stifel is down 843 points to 31,537. KMOX traffic, some debris, 370 west past 94 in the left lane. Stall on 270 south on the ramp from Missouri Bottom, 270 north before 370, and 70 east at Missouri 141 on the right shoulder.
All about sunshine as we continue through our Tuesday afternoon with nice temperatures, and the humidity levels are really easy to take. Temperatures in the 70s to near 80 degrees for a couple of minutes. Tonight, clear skies. It stays quite nice. 70s for any evening plans. 57 for the low. Wednesday and Thursday, sunshine. It's a little bit warmer. 85 degrees for the high Wednesday and Thursday. Sunshine. Mid to upper 80s for Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. I'm meteorologist Dave Murray for the Voice of St. Louis, KMOX.
Sponsored by Midwest Money. It's not all about money at Midwest Money. Come see the spectacular model railroad train layout the first Sunday of every month. It's free. Come one, come all to Midwest Money. And while you're there, walk across the street and check out the coin shop at Midwest Money. Sunny, 76 Florissant, 77 St. Peter's, 76 downtown. I'm Michael Calhoun, KMOX News.
The show, sponsored by Straight Realty, your St. Louis area experts. Why pay more than $4? 314-441-4444.
All right, it's 12:05 on the show. Chris Ranji, Amy Mark scores, Kevin Wheeler with you here. We touched earlier on the latest happenings in Ukraine and figured it'd be nice to reach out to someone who has a lot more expertise than we do to talk about these issues. And we bring in Colonel Jeff McCausland, CBS Radio National Security Consultant. And you can find him on Twitter at MCCAUSLJ. First of all, Colonel, thank you for doing this. We appreciate you. And also, we've been talking a bit about the news here in recent days, really maybe even the last couple of weeks. It sounds like some ground has been regained. Is that the reality? And is it something that could continue?
It certainly is a reality, Chris, without a doubt. The Ukrainians have captured, they claim, up to 1,000 square miles, or an area about the size of the state of Delaware. And there seems clear evidence from all the video we see that in fact is the case, capturing some 30 towns or more, particularly some key places, a place called Izium, which was a city of about 40,000 before the war, but it's key and essential in this particular conflict in that area because it's a centerpiece for the networks of roads and railways that the Russian Federation had depended on for resupply of ammunition, resupply of food, fuel, etc. And so the loss of that really compromises in many ways their ongoing offensive in Donbass, being able to move any further. And then beyond that, of course, just the scenes that we're seeing and the anecdotal reports we're getting of Russian soldiers literally running away, abandoning equipment. Some reports of them had literally abandoned their uniforms and trying to escape in civilian clothes suggest perhaps that this particular portion of the Russian army, if not the overall force, has very, very serious morale and resupply issues that's causing these soldiers to question their willingness to fight.
With that in mind, as this conflict drags on, does that favor Ukrainian forces?
Oh, without a doubt. I mean, way back 2 centuries ago, Napoleon Bonaparte once said, the moral is to the physical as 3 is to 1. And there's no doubt about it. What we've seen demonstrated over this now 6, now closer to 7 months, is the Ukrainians clearly have cohesion on their side, clearly have a willingness to fight on their side, clearly believe they are defending their home and their homeland from an aggressor. Where on the other side, we again have reports of Russian soldiers at times confused about where they are, surprised to learn they're in the Ukraine and wondering what they're fighting and dying for in this particular conflict. And you put on top of that, of course, Amy, reports that have come out of the Russians suffering 80 to 100,000 casualties, probably a third of that being killed in action. You combine those two things, and it's really a question of how cohesive is that Russian force, the willingness to fight, and the leadership that's trying to execute their campaign in the Ukraine.
So how likely is it, Colonel, that other units spread out across Ukraine, other Russian units spread out across Ukraine, hear this reported in a way that would make them lose their morale? I mean, if it's not happening to them, if they're not the ones that are putting down their weapons or taking off their uniforms and leaving, will that information even travel through military circles? Or is it very likely that they're hearing those things and it may affect them too?
Well, I think it will definitely affect them. This is one of the most transparent wars we have. And we have in Russia so-called military bloggers who write about this war and, of course, have video and soldiers actually talking to them by cell phone. And so all that is going on. And it's much more transparent than perhaps previous conflicts. And even down in Kherson, which is in southern Ukraine near Crimea, where the Russians are trying to defend against an ongoing other Ukrainian offensive, we have reports of a regiment actually refusing to fight because they haven't been resupplied water. And so it seems that this may be a more general trend than just an isolated trend in the Northeast. And finally, I started to say, fear is much more infectious than even COVID. And if an organization now starts being fearful, that can infect the morale, the cohesion, and the willingness of the organization to execute its mission.
Jeez, we got the microphone problem over here, which is me not pushing the button.
Ranji lost his morale.
Funny how that works.
Yeah. User error. Should there be concern over what Vladimir Putin might do next if he is in fact starting to lose hold of what's happening in Ukraine?
Absolutely. Vladimir Putin has pushed all his personal poker chips to the center of the table. I would imagine Putin understands one thing: in the entirety of the Soviet Union, in its history, only 2 leaders actually left office still vertical, okay? And that were Gorbachev and, of course, Khrushchev. The rest of them all left in a box. So he understands that pretty doggone well. And he then, I think, only has 2 options at this particular point. One, he can escalate. Now, he can escalate in a variety of ways. He could do a cyber attack. He could put more pressure by his actions in and around the Zaporizhzhia nuclear power plant, in an effort not only to intimidate the Ukrainians, but intimidate the Europeans more broadly. He could try to do more things in terms of energy, which would cause the Europeans a particular concern for their future as winter is arriving and energy supplies might be short. He could try the food weapon. He could suddenly announce we're no longer going to allow grain to be exported from Ukrainian ports, which has been negotiated. Or he could escalate to the use of a nuclear weapon, a tactical nuclear weapon, in an effort to forestall this Ukrainian advance. I think that's not likely, but I think it's not impossible. And I think we need to keep that in mind. To use a nuclear weapon, I think for him, would not offer him much military opportunities because I don't think he has the conventional forces to exploit what that might offer him operationally. And furthermore, there'd be enormous blowback internationally, making him truly a pariah, and perhaps even isolating him from some of his more steadfast supporters like the Chinese and perhaps the Indians. Or the other option he has really would be to de-escalate, suddenly announce, I don't think this is impossible, well, let's go to a ceasefire. There's been enough bloodletting. Let's go to negotiation. Let's go to the Minsk III process, which was part of the negotiation at the end of the fighting or the civil war, or the attack by the Russians, I should say, in 2014. Try to freeze this particular war in its place, get to wintertime, give me a few months to see if the energy effort has an effect on European support for the war, and give me some time to train, reorganize, and equip my force and see what I can do then in the springtime.
And that was going to be my question. How does Putin get out of this if it's not a vanquishing of Russia, if it's a negotiated peace? Is there a way for him to step down, still appease his pseudo-imperial ego, I'm guessing avoid war crimes, but somehow get out of this conflict?
I think it's going to be very difficult because he would have to basically tell the Russian people, oh, in actuality, we won. You know, we won. We have resecured control over the Luhansk province, part of Donetsk province, and other areas, and this is sort of a victory. Now, that might ring kind of hollow if you've had 80,000 casualties for a lot of the Russians. And the right wing in Russia is becoming more and more strident in their criticism of Putin. The second thing you could do, of course, is try to find somebody else to blame, somebody to throw under the bus. And if I was Gerasimov, who is the chief of the general staff, or I was Shoigu, Minister of Defense, I'd be looking over my shoulder every day when I walked around because the boss may be looking for somebody to toss under the bus to appease particularly right-wingers in Moscow who are very critical of this war now and very critical of the regime, and hopefully then stave off them coming for me.
So I've watched this story, obviously, from afar, Colonel, and we've seen, I think it was yesterday, I saw a story that more than 16,000 Russian citizens have been arrested for speaking out against the war. And I know that they try to control the message there, probably easier to do there than it would be here, for example, but it doesn't sound like it's being all that well controlled if that many people have already been incarcerated.
Well, those people are left-wingers. Those are dissidents. Those are people who are opposed to the war. Those are intellectuals. Those are people running independent newspapers and radio stations and college students and that kind of. Yeah, he's pretty well dampened down the left wing. He threw Navalny in jail. What is concerned right now is the right wing. I mean, we're talking super xenophobic, nationalistic Russian bloggers and people on TV and radio who were his strongest supporters of this particular war, but now are aghast at what has occurred to the Russian army. And they would point out things as they did just the other day. Where was Vladimir Putin while his soldiers were being routed in the area around Kharkiv? Oh, he was in Moscow cutting the ribbon on a new Ferris wheel. and those kind of pictures and those kind of critiques by those people who are strong supporters of the war are now, I think, was starting to threaten Putin's power base.
So we're looking for an end to this. We're hoping that there's going to be an end to this because it has had global effects. It has affected Europe, obviously. Right. There have been some effects here at home. When this thing is finally over, whenever that is, when will we start to see some positive benefits? Because we've had economic issues that have been exacerbated here in this country as a result of this war. Might we see some relief if this thing comes to an end relatively quickly?
We might, but I don't think it's going to come to an end anytime quickly, though. I think this could, in fact, accelerate. In terms of this whole idea of going to negotiation, that certainly might work for Putin. It might even work for some Europeans right now. But the Ukrainians, don't forget, the Ukrainians are the ones who are in the war. And they've been very adamant, and Zelensky has been very adamant publicly. We're not negotiating until Russian forces have left all of our territory. And in many ways, they define all of our territory to include not only the portion the Russians occupied since the 24th of February, but also the portion of their country Russia occupied in 2014 when they seized Crimea and also foisted a civil war in the southeastern part of the country. So the Ukrainians have a vote on when this war comes to an end. When we might see some positive benefits, I think this is much more longer term. I mean, in many ways, I think there may be positive benefits in terms of energy. The one thing that's come out of this, though, in the short term, we may see countries turning more and more to fossil fuels, particularly in Europe, to make up for the shortfall that they're experiencing because of a lack of Russian oil supplies. There's no doubt about it. European countries are now going to accelerate their movement away from fossil fuels because they have discovered, much to their chagrin, that this dependency on the Russian Federation, the idea of interoperability with the Russian Federation economically, was a recipe for peace and security in Europe, was proved to be false.
Colonel, you've written a book, Battle Tested, Gettysburg Leadership Lessons for 21st Century Leaders. And Volodymyr Zelensky, he's not in the military, but he is a political leader. He is leading Ukraine. What are your thoughts on his leadership so far?
I think he's been miraculous. I mean, I think he's been the single factor that has kept his country going. I mean, at the very beginning, that one remark he made early on when it looked like Kyiv would fall, and there was people around him and people in the West urging him to flee the country in order to create a government in exile, not unlike we did in World War II with Norwegians and French and other people. And Zelensky looked into a microphone and said, I don't need a ride, I need more ammunition. And that has sort of been the testimony of Vladimir Zelensky ever since. His trademark appearance in a pair of fatigue trousers and a green T-shirt and a beard, and speaking around the world by Zoom. This has been miraculous as well. The media has helped him enormously, to parliaments, United Nations, Security Council, and others, calling for support to Ukraine and pointing out the war crimes that are committed by the Russian Federation, have not only galvanized domestic support for the war, which by all accounts, even by observers there very recently, is still very, very strong. He has about a 90% support rate in Ukraine, best we can tell, but has also galvanized international support. I mean, this is sort of an Abraham Lincoln-like, Winston Churchill-like effort in holding a country together at a very, very difficult moment.
Colonel, we always appreciate your insight and your time. Thank you so much. We'll look forward to our next conversation.
My pleasure.
You got it. That's Jeff McCausland. He is CBS Radio National Security Consultant, also professor at Dickinson College. And, of course, you can find him on Twitter at MCCAUSLJ. So part of his last name with the first initial. If you just go in the search bar and put in Jeff McCausland, it'll take you right to that spot. All right, coming up next, we're going to tell you, I'll give you an update, I guess. Another update. The second day in a row, we've had an update on the biggest cheating scandal in chess. That's next on the show.
Well, the weather has been absolutely gorgeous. I think I heard Carol Daniels say it's Chamber of Commerce weather, because you really want to show off when the weather is this beautiful. And this is when you want to spend time outside in your backyard, have neighbors over, family, friends, and you may realize, oh man, I should have taken advantage of the previous year to get that deck replaced or have that deck built or that fence put in for a bit more privacy and separation. STL FenceWorks can help you out. They have been serving the St. Louis, St. Charles, Franklin, and Warren counties for over 50 years. Back in 1971, Russ and Carolyn Long opened STL FenceWorks. Now their son, Sean Timothy Long, STL and STL FenceWorks, he runs the company. So you know you are working with a company that is family owned and operated and locally owned and operated. And oh, by the way, right now they have more materials and supplies on hand than they've had at any other time in their 50-year history. How have they been able to do that? Well, they're the #1 fence and deck contractor in the state of Missouri. So they've been able to leverage that position to make sure they have everything on hand right now to get the job done. Plus that lifetime warranty. Visit them today at stlfenceworks.com.
For everything online, it's Odyssey.com. Download the Odyssey app and listen to The Dave Glover Show and all the news, talk, sports, and podcasts that move you. Odyssey, that's AUDACY.
Charlie Brennan sees clearly thanks to Dr. Birdie and Malhotra. You can too. Go to youridoc.com today or call 314-966-5000.
The eyes of the chess world are on St. Louis, the chess capital of the United States. The St. Louis Chess Club proudly hosts Champions Showdown, Chess 9LX, from September 13th to the 16th. 10 of the world's best grandmasters, including legendary world champion Garry Kasparov and St. Louis's own Fabiano Caruana and Levan Aronian. Rounds start 2 p.m. daily. Watch all the action live on uschesschamps.org.
Our national debt is now over $30 trillion, an increase of over 20% in just the past 2 years. I'm sure you've been told at some point that taxes will be lower when you retire, but do you truly believe that? Now is the time to begin planning for the future of tax increases. Is your financial advisor helping you with tax planning for a tax-efficient future? If not, this is the time to call me, Ken Heisey, at Heisey Advisory Group, 314-328-4400. If you're like most people, you have a portfolio of investments, but a portfolio is not a plan. How have you planned for the potential legislative risk of increased taxes? Call Heisey Advisory Group now and let us help you create a plan to reduce the tax risk in your retirement. Call 314-328-4400, 314-328-4400.
Firm offers insurance services but does not provide tax advice. Investment advisory services offered only by duly registered individuals through A Wealth Management, LLC.
Equifax Inc. seeks a software engineer in St. Louis, Missouri to translate process-driven requirements into functional requirements to integrate into EFX Java-based GRC system. Requires a bachelor's degree in computer science or related field plus 5 years of experience in software development, or alternatively, a master's degree in computer science or related field. Willing to accept foreign education equivalent and 3 years of experience in software development. Email resume to jobs.opportunities@equifax.com. Reference position number 10422.
Darren Bailey isn't popular with the political establishment of either party because he's from the real world.
I'm proud to be a family farmer. We get up before the sun comes up and we work until after it goes down. We fix things that are broken. We solve problems and we grow things. And I love to remind people what farmers do. They feed the world.
Like you, Bailey knows what hasn't worked.
Decade after decade of mismanagement in Springfield, back-to-back billionaire governors, and where has that gotten us?
Bailey got involved in state politics by opposing the income tax increase signed by the previous Republican governor, and then led the opposition to the income tax increase proposed by the current Democrat governor, because high taxes are driving families from Illinois. We tried billionaires from both parties. They left us with high taxes, high unemployment, and high crime rates. How much worse does it have to get before we give a practical problem solver a try? Paid for by people who play by the rules PAC.
Trusted information, live and local. From the award-winning KMOX Newsroom.
It's the show on KMOX 1223. Chris Ranji, Amy Mark Scores, Kevin Wheeler with you here. So we had a new level. Every day we're getting a new level of story on the biggest scandal in chess.
Oh.
The Sinkfield Cup was here. Magnus Carlsen walked away. Amy took a bite of her sandwich. Right as we were coming back.
Jeez.
It's all right. I was going to set this up anyway because there's another layer to the story. It's continuing to grow is what I'm saying. So the 19-year-old, his name's Neiman, right?
Yeah.
By the way, is it bad that I want to go Neiman?
No, I think it's great. It's
Instead of
Hans
Neiman.
Neiman
It's
or
nice.
Neiman. I think
Either
it's Neiman.
way, I want to say it like Newman. But
maybe the beads know.
He's
But
actually
remember, it's the biggest scandal since Toiletgate.
yeah, since Toiletgate. Well, they've basically shot down the conspiracy theory that Elon Musk was out there with the beads and the little bzzz and the
Which would have been
backside.
impressive.
Right,
And
would have been.
commitment.
So
what's interesting though is the world seems to be fracturing into sides. There's the one side that is chess.com and Magnus Carlsen, and I forget who the other person was who was recently a U.S. champion or something along those lines. And then there are other famous chess players, one I think from France, another one I forgot from where, that are saying, well, wait a minute, there's no evidence this guy cheated at all. And what there is evidence
Here.
of,
Because
right,
he
in this
cheated
case,
before on
no, they're
chess.com.
talking about
Yeah.
in this particular case,
Yes.
that there's no evidence of cheating there, but there is ample evidence that the grand champion actually played very poorly early on in the
Sure.
game, and that's why he lost.
Yes, and he's lost before.
Listen to me talking about chess.
I know.
I just made all that up.
What I love is that I'm looking at the story in the New York Times. Chess isn't ready for a scandal like this. And hey, it's happening down the street. I mean, we are the newsmakers.
I
We're
know.
The center
it's
of
in the Wall
world.
It is
Street
exciting.
Journal.
The
Did
New
we?
York Times, Washington Post.
You know, we got a great newsroom. I hope we sent somebody down there.
To the chess club.
I know we're covering crime in the city and important things. Somebody better have been outside the Chess Hall of Fame looking for answers.
Okay, I know we need to get back to the cheating, but we have said over and over again, St. Louis is the chess capital of the world. Gary Kasparov says that.
Also in favor of Neiman.
Neiman.
Gary
Oh,
Kasparov.
is he?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
But
No, it's
the
'cause he
reason why
likes
I bring
beads,
this
too.
up is finally.
Allegedly. What is that? That's what this is
He
about,
likes
right?
Mardi Gras, Amy.
Okay.
Mardi Gras beads
Okay.
that light up.
Yes.
Go on.
Anyway, I'm just saying, look at, we really are the center of the chess world because this whole thing is going down right here in St. Louis.
This is exciting. I think.
it's exciting.
There could not have been a. Well, there could not have been a
Go
better
away, Kevin.
a better
Go play
thing.
a video game.
What could have been better to happen to the St. Louis chess scene than a scandal?
You
There's
know-
nothing better.
you
Like
know
a
what's true?
great
You know what?
tournament,
He's right.
a hard-fought tournament. Oh, what a and Kaspersky or whatever his name is. Like he won.
Kasparov. You know who Gary Kasparov is.
Yeah,
Come
that
on.
guy. Like he won. What
Even
a
I know
great
that
tournament! It was a come from behind victory.
Also,
bad choice of words, phrasing, and so that would have been like okay, fine or whatever. But a scandal, a bead scandal.
Any scandal.
That's
really.
the kind of
Okay.
Like
that's the kind of story
this
St. Louis
tournament-
chess needed.
This tournament is not being talked about on this show or being written about in the Wall Street Journal in this way, minus the scandal.
So, Kevin.
So is it good eventually long term? Is it good
Yeah.
that it gets more eyes and ears on the sport?
Yes.
Yes. So
All
what's the
press
update?
is good
the
press.
update is that most likely he didn't cheat in this instance.
Right.
There we go.
He has cheated and admitted, by the way, to cheating in online games. He says not in the big tournaments, but not in person.
Oh,
when you're
okay.
like actually in person, he denies the whole thing. And there are, like I said, now there are factions. We'll probably have another update tomorrow. The way this thing is going.
Hope they recover those beads.
Hey, got our Redbird report coming up after the news.
You know what? Old guy thing has ruined me, and I don't care.
There's always something new to learn about Dave Glover.
Closed captioned on my TV. it happened one time, and I was too old guy to figure out how to get rid of it. And after a couple shows, I'm like, I like this.
I can't. I know.
Here's especially the part I love, where in parentheses it's like dramatic music playing.
It's happening right now on Let's Make a Deal. It's like
Is it?
cheers
Yes.
and applause.
I'm a closed caption guy now.
The Dave Glover Show, weekdays at 2 on KMOX.
Hi there, it's John Hancock for First Mid Bank and Trust. They're a community-focused organization. They put so much money back into the communities where they serve. They've been around for 157 years. If you're looking for a bank, check them out. They got 19 locations here in the greater St. Louis area. Plenty of small business professionals to work with. They got insurance experts. Whether you're saving for your first home, paying off debt, or planning for retirement, First Mid Bank is the place for you. Go check them out online, firstmid.com. You'll be glad you did.
I'm here for Pioneer Brand Seeds, a block away from another ag company's corporate office. This company concentrates their breeders here in one centralized location. That's not how Pioneer works. Our breeders are located where their test plots are. That way, Pioneer corn breeders gain insights about what does and doesn't work for a local geography in real time. Ask your local Pioneer sales representative about field-proven Pioneer brand corn hybrids. And like our breeders, they're located near you.
Those who've built their own financial success know that moving forward requires not just the right tools, but an in-depth knowledge of how to use them. That's why Edelman Financial Engines gives you a dedicated wealth planner supported by a team of experts. We know a modern wealth planning relationship demands human insight powered by advanced technology. Our advice is tailor-made for your personal goals, and our investment management approach is based on Nobel Prize-winning research. We model more than 38,000 securities, so we can better stress test your portfolio through thousands of scenarios. See what we can build for you. Call 888-899-4450. That's 888-899-4450. Or visit efewealthplanners.com to get your complimentary financial plan. Edelman Financial Engines, built for those who built themselves.
12:30, it's sunny and 78 degrees downtown at the Arch. This just in, Twitter shareholders have voted to approve the proposed $44 billion buyout by Elon Musk, who is now trying to get out of the deal. Musk and Twitter are set to meet in court in October. Consumer Price Index from August is out. The good news is lower prices for gas help to slow inflation for a second straight month. CBS News business analyst Jill Schlesinger has the bad news.
I think the food numbers came in stronger than we would have expected from year over year. And it's almost as if every single category is up.
Proteins are up by 10.5% versus a year ago, and cereals and bakery products are up 17%. A Trump administration ban on devices that enable a shooter to fire multiple rounds from semi-automatic weapons with a single trigger pull is back before a federal judge in New Orleans. And KMOX traffic, we got a stall 70 west past Jennings Station on the right shoulder, 70 east at 141 on the right shoulder. Forecast, sunny and nice today, high 79. Clear sky tonight, low 56. Tomorrow, high 85, mostly sunny. It's 78 degrees now downtown at the Arch. All the news you need for your day is on the free Odyssey app. Download it now. I'm Michael Calhoun, KMOX News.
Brought to you by Total Wine and More.
Visit Total Wine and find your favorite Cabernet. And with their incredible selection and expert guides, you might even find yourself a new favorite. Always love what you find at Total Wine and More. Drink responsibly. B21.
Transform your home into the most beautiful home in your neighborhood with Banner Construction, St. Louis's premier James Hardy and Pella window expert. Add curb appeal and value to your home by calling Banner Construction 314-569-1050.
Driven by the Bomarito Automotive Group, the voice of St. Louis, KMOX.
I'm sure that you've felt the shift in the real estate market and have wondered how it will affect you. Is it time to buy or is it time to sell? What are your options? Hi, I'm Christina Straight with Straight Realty. Give us a call and we can discuss a strategy that works for your individual needs in this ever-changing market. Quality and experience at a more affordable rate. Why pay more than $4? 314-441-4444. 314-441-4444.
Straight Realty is a licensed broker in the state of Missouri.
In this market, you'll find Fisher Investments is different than other money managers.
Different how? Aren't we all just looking for the hottest stocks?
Nope. We use diversified strategies to position our clients' portfolios for their long-term goals.
You don't just provide cookie-cutter portfolios?
No, we tailor our clients' portfolios to their goals and needs.
But you still sell investments that generate high commissions for you, right?
No, we don't sell commission-based products. We're a fiduciary, the highest standard of care for a financial advisor. It means we're obligated to act in our clients' best interest.
So when do you make more money? Only when your clients make more money?
Yep, we have one transparent management fee structured, so we do better when our clients do better.
Sounds like you really look out for your clients.
We do, because our priority is helping them achieve a comfortable retirement. That might be why most of our clients come from other money managers. Visit FisherInvestments.com to find out why investors like you switch to us. Fisher Investments. Clearly, different money management.
Investments in securities involve the risk of loss.
Keep up with all things Cardinals with Cardinals Conversations. Hear pre- and post-game shows. The latest from the manager and the front office. How Albert's doing.
Home run, Albert Pujols.
The replays of Live by Lowe's and much more. Cardinals Conversations. Available now on the podcast page at KMOX.com.
The pitch by Waino. Albert is hit high and deep. A home run for Harrison Bader. Yadier Molina has homered. Double play. It's a big fly for Albert Pujols. A home run in the first inning for Goldie.
This is the Redbirds Report.
All right, the Cardinals coming off the off day yesterday, getting back into action today, and opening a 2-game series against the Milwaukee Brewers. So they don't have a lot of games. The Cardinals don't have a lot of games left against winning teams. They've got the 2 games here against Milwaukee, 2 more against the Brewers later on. And then I think it's a 3-game series each against the Dodgers and the Padres. So not a ton left against the top-level competition. But these 2 days are going to be pretty meaningful just in terms of a team that's chasing you. And if Milwaukee has any hope, they have to beat you head-to-head. Because if you're not going to get those straight head-to-head series wins, you're just not going to make up this amount of ground in that short amount of time, barring just a complete and total unexpected collapse for the Cardinals. It's going to be hard for the Cardinals to collapse when they've got 6 more against the Pirates and 5 more against the Reds. I mean, it's going to be hard when 13 of their 21 games are against those teams.
I mean, it's possible, but let's look at the reality of the situation here. It would have to be just a total monumental collapsing, falling apart that you've probably not really seen before. It would have to be.
It would be epic.
It would have to be really, really, really bad. So
I don't like
I
that we
think you
keep
can
talking about it.
I think you can just kind of look past that. To be honest with you, you start to get yourself ready for the postseason. While you don't really want to, and I hate using cliches, but taking your foot off the gas, you don't want to do that now either. As best as you possibly can, because I think you want to be as sharp as possible going into the playoffs. Now, I know that there isn't necessarily a correlation between how you're playing going into the postseason and how well you perform when you get into the playoffs. There's not necessarily a correlation, but I would rather be playing well going in than not playing well.
What I think is interesting is as the Cardinals approach the playoffs, people are thinking about the playoffs, but they're really thinking about Albert Pujols. I think it's going to be Pujols, and then a shift, right? When the regular season ends, and then it turns all into playoff talk. Are the Cardinals going to win the World Series? Because when you talk Cardinals baseball right now, I feel like the vast majority of conversations I've been having have all centered on Albert Pujols and what he's doing.
Well, that's the headliner as far as getting attention, because he's 3 away from 700. He's been an amazing story in the second half, but certainly, figuring out who's going to end up in your postseason rotation is a large part of what the next 3 weeks are about. Does Jack Flaherty, as we talked about with Matt Pauley yesterday, does Jack Flaherty show you enough in 3 weeks that he should supplant one of the other guys? Because Wainwright's not coming out of the postseason rotation. Miles Mikolas is not coming out.
Right.
And at this point, there's no chance that Jordan Montgomery's out. The only one that could be bumped for Flaherty, I would think, would be Quintana. But if Quintana keeps pitching the way that he has, that's a difficult thing as well. But the problem, the interesting part of it is that when Flaherty's right, he's a front end of the rotation guy. So if you're getting to the point where that's your decision, you've got to bump one of those 4 to make room because Flaherty's healthy and pitching well. That's a pretty good sign.
That's a much better decision than, I don't know who's going to do this. I don't know who this 4th starter is going to be. So they could be in a really nice position in a few weeks trying to figure out who that guy is going to be. But going back to the schedules for the remainder of the year, the Cardinals' toughest games coming up, they've got 6 total versus the Dodgers and the Padres. Those are going to be difficult games, but the Dodgers have already clinched. They have clinched. They've gotten their playoff spot already. It is September 13th.
Right.
And the season doesn't end till the first week of October, and they have already clinched their playoff
And
spot.
they're going to be the 1 seed.
So
they're going to be the 1 seed also. They got a 9-game lead or an 8-game lead over the next closest team.
Yes. So they are very, very, very comfortable, which means, logically speaking, you would hope they're not really going to be trying to they won't be flooring the accelerator. They won't be, because they don't have to be. They're in great position. Now, the Padres are a different story, but for Milwaukee, they've still got the Yankees to play, and they still have the Mets. They've got 6 total against those teams.
Yeah.
I don't see an avenue for them. So it's really about, is there enough time between now and the end of the season to catch up with Atlanta or catch up with the Mets? I don't think so. But I guess you could still operate as if they do. I mean, that's really it, because I think if you can get home field, then you're in a better position. But I think that the Cardinals probably are locked in about where they are.
Yeah, you're 5.5 behind the Mets. So if you wanted to be the 2 seed, you got to make up 5.5 games in 3 weeks.
Which would be tough.
That's hard.
Be very tough.
We're talking about 8 games. That's much more difficult. And what's more difficult about it is you don't play the Mets at all.
Yeah.
You don't have any chance for the head-to-head. Milwaukee's only chance, really, is if they were to beat the Cardinals in all 4 of those games. You've now reduced that 8 to 4. But then you still have to outplay them by 4 the rest of the way, which, again, at this point is hard to do, when you've only got 21 games left on the schedule for these 2 teams.
So the likelihood is they're going to play the Padres in the first round.
That's correct. That's the way it's setting up for right now.
Yep.
Unless the Brewers catch the Padres, which is possible because the Brewers are only, I think, 2 games behind the Padres in the wild card standings. So that's another key thing to keep in mind, the way it's setting up. All right, so we've talked a lot about Albert, and rightfully so, and he's not only getting attention here, he is starting to become, and I think it's been slowly building, but it's building even more now that we're only 3 away from 700. His story is much more of a national story now. It's obviously being covered on MLB Network. It's being written about everywhere that baseball is being written about. But it's getting bigger when people that are not really baseball talkers are talking about him. And in this case, I'm referring to Max Kellerman on ESPN. Now, disclaimer, I am not a fan of Max Kellerman. I think he's a really good boxing analyst. I think he knows a lot about the fight game. I don't think he knows much about anything else. I think he's just hot take central other than that. And he has offered up, I'm hoping, jokingly, a hot take about Albert's recent stretch.
By the way, it is amazing how Pujols, who was in steady decline for years, suddenly it's like he discovered the fountain of youth. I don't know how he's doing it. Oh my God, the bat speed, everything. He's killing the ball. Matter of fact, bartender, I'll have whatever he's having. I mean, this is unbelievable. He sure has turned back the clock. I just wonder if there was anything that could be pointed at. How does a player turn back the clock like this? I guess it's willpower and practice. All these years between then and now, he hasn't been practicing, apparently. Now he's getting sick.
All right, so he's probably going to hide behind the, hey, listen, I was kidding around. I'm trying to be funny and have some fun with this. It's not funny to speculate about a player taking an illegal substance. It's not funny unless you have evidence to do so. And then it's not funny. Then it's a serious allegation. And B, what he just showed us there, what Max Kellerman showed us right there, is he doesn't know a damn thing about baseball. He hasn't followed any of this. He has no idea that Albert was like this last year for the Dodgers. He has no idea how playing less for an older player can actually lead to better production when you play. He doesn't also, by the way, even address the fact that Albert has been injured for most of the last 5 or 6 years, and he's not injured right now. I think that's a horribly reckless thing to jump into right there.
Well, it sure is a volcanic take.
But it certainly fits Max Kellerman, who is the king of, I don't really know crap about this, but I got to have a take, so here's a take.
I'm sure he's not alone. There probably are a lot of people who are saying it, but it's a stupid take. And one of the reasons I think it's dumb is unless Albert is on a misdirection campaign like we've never seen, the guy clearly doesn't really seem to care about getting to 700. Like I think he's more
pretty
concerned.
Chill,
yeah, I mean, he just said it a couple of weeks ago. I don't care if the season ends and I'm at 699, I'm done. And I'm paraphrasing, but that's what he said.
Yeah.
He said he's not coming back next year to hit one home run and then call it quits. This is it. He's finished. Doesn't matter if he's at 698, 699. He clearly doesn't really care that much about getting to 700. He seems to care a whole lot more about helping his team win right now. He's having a lot of fun doing that. And let's not discount the possibility that is also contributing to his good performance. He's having a good time right now. And I agree with you. I know there are probably sports hosts around the country. I haven't heard them for myself, but I'm sure there are guys who are, and women who are doing this job or doing the sports job who are speculating, I wonder if he's on something right now, because how else would a 40-year-old be able to do this? It's laziness. That's all that is.
Oh, I also think it's recklessness. Like if you have evidence, that's a different thing. If you've investigated, you've talked to sources, that's a different thing. If you're just throwing it out there, that's completely reckless.
Yes.
And, I'm going to say this. This is not about anybody that has or currently does play for the Cardinals. But I have been told by people who saw firsthand about players, retired baseball players, that took steroids, that have never been exposed, that have never been written about, that have never been talked about. And I will not mention that on the air because I can't back it up. There's no evidence to it. The people that I know swear on it. That's not enough. You don't speculate about things like that. You don't joke about things like that. You either have something or you don't.
Don't you feel like shouldn't that guy feel like a total loser?
He doesn't.
He has
but
no shame.
I would say that we should have. I think we did that with Barry Bonds before the Balco thing came out.
Oh, we did.
We were doing that.
I got into it with Skip Bayless at that time saying, listen, where's your evidence?
Yeah, people were doing that.
It doesn't mean you're wrong, but if you're going to be making those accusations, it should be more than something observational. It should be more than just, wow, you're hitting a lot of home runs.
If it raises your antenna because a guy is at the very tail end of his career and you're like, how is he doing this? I think that's fair. It's fair to wonder, but if you're going to actually speculate out loud, you better know something.
And you better not do that on ESPN.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, where are the people behind the scenes at ESPN saying, Max, you can't do that.
Can't do that. And I would just like to say that I did not bring up the vibrating beads. I was just
Wait. Hold on.
Oh,
Hold on.
Amy,
Yeah.
Amy she just in case. What's his name? Nyman?
Hans Niemann.
Hans Newman.
Elon Musk tweeted a rumor about vibrating beads and a
It's been written about in all of these news
all of
stories.
these about
I don't
the-
think anybody was worried about
So
that.
you
anymore.
weren't
Yes.
speculating. You were
No.
addressing a story.
Just like Kevin addressed.
You're not
this
Max
guy.
Kellerman.
Max Kellerman. And I just want anybody who might be thinking, well, she
Like Amy really threw those beads against the wall, which is the last thing you want to do, by the way. But that's
man, I'm not going to say it.
No, she was addressing Elon Musk.
tweet.
She was addressing Elon Musk and the news story. Was it the New York?
Listen,
New York Times?
It's in the major reports. It is
Yes.
in
It
the
was in the
stories.
reports.
Yes,
Yeah.
that was an allegation.
anyway.
But I would also say, by the way, that the people that initially put that out there, if they don't have evidence,
Yeah, that was irresponsible. And
Are
it was probably some
ridiculous.
random person.
Well,
Yes.
Max Kellerman is just a big, dumb, stupid idiot. That's
mean-
not speculation.
no, he's known for this. And again, I actually enjoy his work when he's doing boxing. I think he's good at it. He knows the sport. He knows the ins and outs of it. I
You
don't
watch more boxing programming than I do.
No, when I watch some fights, because he does does commentator work on fights, like pre-fight analysis. He does the ringside analysis, and he's fine. It's about the only sport that I think he knows anything about, and that's the problem. Is he's got to have takes, but he doesn't know what those takes should be because he doesn't understand the other sports.
Mm-hmm.
Not the way that he should to be in the spot that he is on ESPN.
That's pretty lousy.
Yeah,
I mean,
look,
I get it. Whatever.
Are you going to tell
Just
us a
trying to-
story about beating somebody up?
no. I mean, I could. I didn't do it. I said I tried to.
Oh, okay.
I tried to beat up Jay Mariotti.
Yes, let's hear that story.
We don't have time. We're at
Well,
47.
What are we doing next?
We got to give away some shoes next.
Oh yeah, we're giving away
If
shoes.
you bring it
Oh,
up
yes,
next
this is
hour,
great.
I've told the story on the air before. It's
Okay.
not that big of a secret. But I tried to beat up Jay Mariotti in Sydney, Australia.
Who was a sports writer for a long time, columnist, and then he
Yeah.
was a sports personality on TV. He was on Around the Horn. He was on that show.
Let's just say he's got some really good friends.
He's a very, if you
that
know the
saved
name
him that day.
if you know the
Ooh.
name Skip Bayless,
Yeah.
he's like
So-
he's Skip Bayless is like Mariotti.
This is the
Yeah,
1 o'clock
same
hour.
kind of
This is
people.
why folks need to stay with us through
yeah.
the 1 o'clock hour to hear this story about Kevin Wheeler and fisticuffs.
Almost.
Almost fisticuffs.
It didn't happen, but that wasn't because I decided not to.
Oh.
He got a couple of really good assists from some other people that were
He
there.
probably would have kicked you with his loafers.
No, he would. He was already running.
No, that
if
sounds
you guys
right.
bring it up later, I don't have a problem talking about it.
Okay.
Coming up next, though, I want to tell you about two things. One, we're going to tell you about what's coming up Sunday night. We are carrying the City 2 versus what's the
Kansas City.
The Kansas City Boys.
They're number
spacing-
2
I'm
team.
spacing on the name of the team. I'm going to look it up. But we're carrying
Is it Rampage?
the City 2 game this Sunday night, match this Sunday night. And as a part of that, we're going to be giving away some sweet shoes. I'll tell you about that. I'll send you maybe some links on Twitter coming up on the show.
Kansas City Steers. I don't know. Trying to figure out what the Kansas City soccer team is, but I do know this. When I have a problem with my eyes, and even if I don't, I'm going to visit my people at Ophthalmology Associates. I had a visit with Dr. Malhotra, about 3 weeks ago, and we went over some of the issues that I'm having, and he said nothing serious, but here's your problem. Your tears are a little saltier than they should be, just like Kevin Wheeler's. And there's a very easy fix for it. So I was noticing a few things where maybe my vision wasn't quite as good as it should be. In my case, it happened to be a very simple fix. Maybe you don't need to have LASIK. Maybe you don't need to have any major procedure done. But if you do, the folks at Ophthalmology Associates will point you in the right direction, and they will handle it all for you. They will do that LASIK surgery if that is the thing you need. If it's a simpler fix, they're not going to try to sell you on something that costs a little bit more. They are wonderful people. All the doctors there, Mahotra, Greg Birdie, Robert Brusati, and Andy Royer. All of them are fantastic, and all you have to do is give them a call and set your appointment now. 314-966-5000. What they'll do is they will tell you what you need and how they can help you. 314-966-5000 or youridoc.com.
If you own a house in St. Louis and you want to sell it as is, without any inspections or the need to make any repairs, call Chris Buys Homes St. Louis at 314-328-8000 or at chrisbuyshomes.louis.com and get your cash offer without any obligations, commissions, banks, or headaches. Chris buys vacant houses, inherited houses, fixer-uppers, beautiful houses, even the tenant won't pay the rent apartment. Google Chris Buys Homes in St. Louis. That's Chris Buys Homes in St. Louis, and check out the best reviews from satisfied customers. When you sell to Chris, you decide when you want to move, according to your schedule and your terms. Go to chrisbuyshomesinstlouis.com. Google Chris Buys Homes in St. Louis or call 314-328-8000. That's 314-328-8000. Call Chris and get the offer you've been waiting for. Chris Buys Homes in St. That's chrisbuyshomesinstlouis.com or call 314-328-8000.
Join us in Forest Park, September 16th and 17th to celebrate the 50th annual Great Forest Park Balloon Race, presented by PNC Bank. Attendance is free, and the number of memories and photos you can capture is endless. Visit GreatForestParkBalloonRace.com for a sneak peek at the beautiful balloon set to take flight, plus event details and directions. Sponsored by Blue Moon and Miller Lite, Drury Hotels, Martini and Rossi, Go Magazine, and the voice of St. Louis, KMOX.
Men suffering from erectile dysfunction or PE, regardless of age or past medical history, you'll see instant results on your first visit at Paramount Men's Medical Center. And for a limited time, your initial consultation and first treatment are totally free. Call now, 314-720-8081.
I'm back to doing what I love and more, thanks to the Good Feet Store.
Hi, this is Arnold, owner of the Good Feet Store. Do you want to walk and stay healthy, but cannot because you are in pain?
I just had difficulty walking. I could not walk in bare feet at all.
Do you keep buying new shoes and inserts from the drugstore with little or no relief?
I tried all kinds of shoes. It was the arch supports that made the difference from the Good Feet Store.
The Good Feet system fits in all your shoes. So come to the Good Feet Store and become pain-free today.
Call 314-317-9494 or visit one of our 2 locations on Olive, Caddy Corner from TGI Fridays, or in Shiloh, Illinois, across from Deerbergs.
Thanks to the Good Feet Store.
Individual results may vary. Consult your physician for medical conditions. Visit the website goodfeetstlewis.com. Come in and try the Good Feet feeling today. Comfort, energy, performance, and pain relief at the Good Feet Store.
The World Trade Center St. Louis is hosting its annual Growing Global Luncheon Friday, September 30th at the Ritz-Carlton in Clayton. With the successful launch of direct flights to Europe, Growing Global 2022 will explore international connectivity and the value and impact of connecting our community and businesses in a 21st century global economy. Registration and sponsorships are available at worldtradecenter-stl.com. Reserve your spot now and join us for Growing Global September 30th.
Don't miss Farm and Home Supply's Fall into Savings event. One day only. Saturday, September 17th. Save on items inside the 2-page flyer, like $25 off men and women's Wolverine boots, or get a free $25 Farm and Home Supply gift card with the purchase of an Echo trimmer, blower, or chainsaw. View the ad online right now at farmandhomesupply.com.
Get started with the Vision Walk today and form your Vision Walk team to raise money for a cure. For more information, go to visionwalk.org or call 314-852-7223.
Hi, I'm Mandy Moore. Stand Up to Cancer is closer than ever before to achieving its mission to make every cancer patient into a long-term survivor. To learn more and get Advantage miles, go to standuptocancer.org/American Airlines.
Hi, this is Ken.
And Laurie Heisey of Heisey Advisory Group. We're dedicated to helping individuals and families work toward their financial goals.
Join us Sundays at 9:30 a.m. for Your Retirement Highway.
Investment advisory services by individuals through AE Wealth Management, LLC.
The show, sponsored by Straight Realty, your St. Louis area experts. Why pay more than 4? 314-441-4444. Back to the show.
Yeah, the show.
With Amy, Chris, and Kevin on KMOX.
So we announced this morning on Total Information AM that KMOX is going to be broadcasting St. Louis City 2 game. That's coming up this Sunday. They'll be taking on Sporting KC 2. So these are the developmental teams as we move towards, obviously, next year's debut of the St. Louis MLS team, St. Louis City. Now, we're going to be carrying that this Sunday, 5:45 for the pregame Sunday night here. It'll be the first event at Centene Stadium, which is supposed to be amazing. Haven't been over there to see it yet other than driving by it. It looks amazing driving by it. But our boss, Steve Moore, has been inside, said it is an amazing spot. And by the way, it's not just open to the public. Season ticket holders are the ones that'll be in attendance. But we will be carrying that game on KMOX. And also should point out that today, St. Louis City's Team Goods store opened up. So you can go down there and go inside. You can see it. You can buy all kinds of cool gear. And you can find out more about them, of course, by going online. It's stlcity.com. But what we're doing right now is giving away a pair of shoes that are on sale there, but we are going to give them away right now. So it's a limited edition SC Ultra Boost Copa shoes, COPA. Every soccer person knows that. I don't know what that means. But I know that the shoes look pretty cool. I just retweeted a picture of it. The fifth caller right now at 314-436-7900 gets a free pair of these shoes. Fifth caller, 314-436-7900. And if you don't get those, then go to City Goods and get your own. But if you got a chance, you got your caller number 5's got the shot right now. Can I call? Free. No. You need to buy your own and pay double.
Yeah. Yeah.
But a reminder that STL City 2 and Sporting KC 2 on KMOX this Sunday night, pregame starting at 5:45.
Let's go.
Hi, this is Charlie Brennan. This year, Banner Construction is working on the back deck at the Brennan household, and this now marks the 6th time on over 2 different homes that Banner has helped the Brennan household, and they can help you too if you give them a call at 314-569-1050. If you'd like your home to be the neighborhood showcase, or if you just have an exterior renovation that needs some serious attention, Banner Construction has the equipment and the craftsmen with more than 25 years of experience. They also carry the top products, including that James Hardy fiber cement siding. Banner is a James Hardy Elite Preferred Contractor, and that James Hardy siding has the rich look and feel of wood. That's why it's preferred by so many luxury home builders. Then there are those Pella windows. Believe it or not, they come with a 30-year guarantee. No other product or service offers that. And Banner is a platinum certified Pella window contractor. That's Banner Construction at bannerconstruction.com.
What makes for a great vacation? Depends on who you ask. Are you looking to get away or bring everyone together? Do you want to get outside and play or see a play at the plate? Fortunately, however you operate, I'm the destination you've been looking for. The name's Missouri, but you can call me Mo. And I have just one question. What's your MO? Come see me at visitmo.com.
Hi, this is Steve Butts at the Crawford Butts Insurance Agency. This year marks our 60th anniversary serving our clients and friends, a tribute to our founder and my dad, Norbert Butts. As your local independent insurance agency, we've been proud to represent many fine carriers such as Safeco, Travelers, and Progressive. So please give us a call for all your insurance needs. 314-752-2500 or crawfordbutts.com.
KMOX, KECK HD2, K254CR, St. Louis.
The home of the Cardinals, KMOX. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
Hi, this is Debbie Monterey for my trusted friend and realtor, Gloria Liu, with Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty. Gloria is the agent I've been recommending for years. If you are planning to sell your home in this crazy seller's market, you do not want to leave a single dollar on the table. You'll love working with Gloria. Gloria Liu will guarantee to sell your home at your agreed-to price and time frame, or she will buy it guaranteed in writing. Her secret? Well, Gloria has the buyers. Thousands of ready buyers looking for homes in your price range and in your neighborhood. Lawrence and Shelby sold their St. Louis home in just 3 days at $17,250 over asking price with multiple offers when their previous agent produced zero results. They chose Gloria over other agents, and they were thrilled with the results. You should call Gloria Lou today with any questions. 314-325-6888. 314-325-6888. It's Gloria Lou with your home sold guaranteed realty. Find her online at gloriahasthebuyers.com. gloriahasthebuyers.com.
Mid-America's most trusted source for news. KMOX.
At 1 o'clock, it's sunny and 79 degrees downtown at the Arch. I'm Michael Calhoun. Our top story this hour, stocks falling sharply on word from the Labor Department that the prices Americans pay for everyday goods and services continue to rise.
I'm Stephen Portnoy. The White House points to a decrease in gas prices since the start of the summer and a slowing of increases in prices at the grocery store. A statement from the president says, quote, "It will take more time and resolve to bring inflation down." Today at the White House, Mr. Biden celebrates the passage of what authors call the Inflation Reduction Act, the package of climate investments and Medicare and corporate tax reforms he signed last month. Critics say it won't do much to reduce inflation.
KMOX Sports, America's sports voice, will broadcast the debut from St. Louis's newest sports stadium.
Just announced, KMOX will carry this Sunday's match between St. Louis City 2 and Sporting KC 2. It's an MLS Next Pro match on Sunday, September 18th, 6 p.m., the first match ever at Centene Stadium. The lower bowl of the stadium will be open to season ticket members only as an early preview. I'm Tom Ackerman, KMOX Sports.
He's run for St. Louis County Executive twice as a Democrat and lost. This time, Mark Mantovani will run against incumbent Sam Page in November as a Republican.
The Republicans asked me to run on their ticket. I think because the Republican Central Committee wants to recognize more of a business orientation to solving the problems.
Republican voters in August chose political unknown Catherine Pinner as their candidate, but she dropped out of the race twice. Mantovani says each time he's run, he's gotten support from moderate Republicans, but he says he's not abandoning his friends in the Democratic Party. Senator Lindsey Graham of South Carolina introducing a bill today that would institute a national ban on abortions after 15 weeks.
If we take back the House and the Senate, I can assure you we'll have a vote on our bill. If the Democrats are in charge, I don't know if we'll ever have a vote on our bill.
Reuters Ipsos polls conducted September 7th through 12th found 63% of respondents said they were less likely to back candidates who support laws that ban or severely restrict abortion. The First Mid Bank and Trust business desk, Amtrak, is suspending some of its cross-country connections ahead of a looming freight train strike. CBS News correspondent Chris Van Cleve says any potential work action could trigger another supply chain crisis at an especially concerning time for the White House.
This could, if the strike went on, could ripple through the U.S. economy in profound ways and put an extraordinary amount of political pressure on all of our elected officials, but particularly the Biden White House, because the Biden White House has been very pro-labor, but is also going into a midterm election that could be bruising for Democrats. The last thing they need is to be hammered on letting the supply chain break down again.
The Dow from Stifel is down 914 points to 31,466. KMOX traffic, stalled vehicle 170 north at Ladue, right shoulder, 55 north at 270 north on the left shoulder, 70 west past Jennings Station Road on the right shoulder. Weather sponsored by St. Louis City SC.
Just plain wonderful is the word for our weather as we go through this Tuesday afternoon. Sunshine in control, nice temperatures, nice humidity in the 70s to near 84 the high. Tonight, clear, cool, comfortable. Evening temperatures in the 70s, 57 for the low. Not a lot of change on Wednesday or Thursday, though it's a little bit warmer each afternoon. Sunshine in control, temperatures each day about 85. I'm meteorologist Dave Murray for the Voice of St. Louis, KMOX.
The new MLS club is now hiring stadium employees for the historic inaugural season. To work for St. Louis's professional soccer team, visit bit.ly/apply@city, bit.ly/apply@city. Sunny 77 Florissant, 79 St. Peter's, 79 downtown at the Arch. I'm Michael Calhoun, KMOX News.
The show, sponsored by Straight Realty, your St. Louis area experts. Why pay more than $4? 314-441-4444.
All right, 105 on the show. Chris Ranji, Amy Mark Scores, Kevin Wheeler with us are with you. You can text us 314-436-7900. Voicemails go straight to 314-944-1120. And that is specific, by the way, for our show. We had somebody that called in earlier, Ron, that was not calling for us, but just to leave a generic message to. Well, they were mad at Bob Costas, who was on TIM this morning.
Everybody's always mad at Bob.
You know, our voicemail line is for the show at 314-944-1120. Other complaints go somewhere else.
But Bob is basically our guy.
He's our best
he's
friend.
KMOX's guy. Yeah.
I mean, he's our guy.
I think Bob and I are best friends, though.
You're not best friends.
I think we are.
He said you looked.
He walked by you pretty quick today.
He did.
Okay.
He didn't stop to talk to you.
Just because I don't have his phone number doesn't mean I'm not his best friend.
I do.
You have Bob's phone number?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I'm going to get Bob's phone number.
Don't worry, Bob. The phone's got a code. It's locked. You don't have to worry about that.
Okay. Can I just say this? Kevin, I discovered this about Kevin. I learned it. I didn't discover it. I learned it.
I actually just presented it.
That's exactly right. There is no one in this world that gets Kevin's ire like Barry Manilow.
Barry Manilow? What's wrong? What's wrong with Barry Manilow?
Kevin
First
lost
of all, he's
his
just
mind.
the worst.
How is he the worst?
He's probably a nice guy. He's probably a nice guy.
Here's what happened. You said
I
the Copa
can't-
shoes, right?
I got you. You were singing, right? We were talking about the shoes that we're giving away for STL City. By the way, Ron and Florissant, congratulations. He won the shoes a few minutes
Way to
ago.
go, Ron.
And you can go to the STL Goods store over at Centene Stadium and get your own now.
The shoes
Not
you
Ron,
said
but somebody else.
Copa.
Yes, and it said Copa. And then, of course, you
Said that's the name of the famous cabana.
Why? Kevin hates this? Why does he hate it so much?
This is such a great song.
Kevin,
and so
where are you going?
We talked about this cabana.
Kevin, get back here and listen to this.
She was a show.
Get back. He walked out of the room.
He did say he would if we played it.
Well, we're playing
You
it.
guys, we brought up Barry Manilow, and Kevin got so upset. It was a visceral reaction.
He did.
He lost his mind in the
I
KMOX
did-
newsroom.
And I didn't even stick around to find out why. I just kept walking.
Because he does lose his mind a lot.
He does.
But not that you can have that strong of a feeling against Barry Manilow was really impressive.
Yeah, I don't have a. It doesn't. Yeah, it's over. I just don't understand why you're so mad about it.
It's over.
So why do you hate it?
Okay, so go back to the 70s.
Uh-huh.
Little Kevin.
Sounds like a great time.
Born in 1971.
Yeah.
Sitting in the back seat of the family station wagon.
Yep.
We've got an 18-hour drive to Florida.
Uh-huh.
Yep.
Mom and dad in the front seat, me and the little brother in the back seat. And this is back when like the means of entertaining yourselves on the radio were 8-track tapes.
Oh, yeah. My grandma had one of those.
And my mom loved the Barry Manilow 8-track.
Oh,
and
yeah.
I hated it.
Oh, God.
Hated it. So no, Barry.
What song was it? Was it this one?
All right, hurry up, turn that off. I'm leaving again.
Was this the song?
Oh, it was one of them.
Well, how many
all
are
sound
on
the
an
same-
8-track?
They all sound the same. Like 12, like a regular album.
You want to hear something funny?
Not as long as it's not about Barry Manilow.
Well, I can't promise that. But the name of my first book was The Lola Papers because a friend of mine gave me the nickname Lola because I didn't have a nickname, ironically. I was playing ice hockey all the time, and every ice hockey player has a nickname. I didn't have one. So he said, you need one. He was at Caldy's having a coffee when this song came on. Lola, she was a showgirl. With ribbons in her hair and a dress cut down to there. And he said, that is you, Amy.
Cut down to where?
There.
Where's there?
That's exactly right. And
Maybe you got to revisit this Barry
Ask that
Manilow
chess
thing.
player. He'll tell you.
but anyway, yeah. So that's why it's the Lola Papers. It's the Copacabana Lola.
Great.
Oh.
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah.
That's
Cool. Just don't
interesting.
play that anymore.
I think it's a great song.
Don't play what anymore? This?
It's jovial.
You know, I just realized
No.
I don't have to leave. I can just take my headphones off, and now I can't
You could,
hear it.
but you could put through your headphones.
No, it's off now. I
Oh, you turn them off. Okay.
Yeah, so I don't have to leave. Actually, this is
No.
great.
This used to
Okay.
be my alarm on my phone.
It did?
Yeah.
That would scare the
You're
living crap
so-
out of me in the morning.
Yeah.
That's so weird.
I would snap into my own nom there.
Hey, so earlier, Amy told a story about being on the airplane. It wasn't her story, but
Yeah.
she told somebody else's story. That a gentleman lotioned up his hands right as they
Yep.
were getting ready to land.
All the cuticles.
He did a great job. He covered every bit of his hands with a nice lotion, and then he took off his socks and shoes, and he lotioned his feet.
Doing each cuticle on each toe, and then putting the palm of his hand on the flat of his foot and taking his fingers going back and forth in between his toes.
Kevin somehow was okay with that, but not Barry Manilow.
Now listen, what I said was
Great point.
it's rude and it is not okay to do.
It's
gross.
disgusting.
But it's not vomit inducing like you two
I don't-
Nancy's.
I don't
You
think
guys are
it's
like, everything with you guys is
You know-
like, ew, it's gross.
Well,
I mean, you guys are
there-
like 4-year-olds.
No, there is a there's a large area between absolutely vomit-inducing, disgusting, and really awesome. There's like a big
right, but
area
you
between
you
those
guys
things.
didn't go to mildly disturbing. You went straight to
I
that.
would have thrown
It's
up.
pretty disturbing.
Talking about
You
it,
would have
I
thrown
actually,
up?
yeah, because talking about it, I'm getting the gag
Then you
reflex.
need that. You need help.
Like
That reference shouldn't be like vomit inducing.
I'm with you. A texter from a 636. No, it's super gross.
Thank you.
And
You guys
another one.
all need help.
Another one
Their
says,
feet.
"Thanks a lot, Amy. I may have to reorder breakfast."
See?
It's
Vomit
disgusting.
inducing.
Hey, listen.
It's disgusting.
Then we can set
Absolutely.
this up. Group therapy for all of you. They're just feet.
Do you think that maybe you
Their
need the
feet.
therapy? Have you ever
No.
considered that
For
possibility?
something not bothering me?
But that's
Yeah.
the thing. Like,
You get therapy for something
Hey,
not
Kevin.
bothering you?
Kevin, sometimes you need therapy because things don't bother you.
Really?
Like
Give me an example.
psychopaths.
Give me an example.
Psychopaths, like they, can do horrible things. It doesn't bother them because they're crazy.
But that stuff does bother me.
But
You know
not
what?
the
Someone's
foot.
foot doesn't bother me unless, I'll give you the unless. Unless he took those socks off and the smell hit you, then it's gross.
What if there's no smell, but it's the visual?
Well, if they're funky looking, like they're like miscolored
Gnarly.
and all that, that would be also gross. If they're just normal, clean, well manicured feet, it's inappropriate and rude, but I don't think it's
Would you
gross.
shake his hand afterwards?
Sure, why not?
Would you eat a
Oh,
chicken
really?
nugget?
Would you
Probably
chicken
not off of his foot, no.
if he lotioned his feet and then immediately grabbed
A
into
chicken nugget.
his bag and offered you a potato chip, would you eat that?
If everything was clean?
Kevin, you're
No,
a
he went
disgusting
straight from lotion feet to the bag of
He
potato
might,
chips.
well, first of all, I probably wouldn't do it just for the lotion factor alone. Like, I don't want that on
The
my
lotion's
chip.
dried up.
Okay. Is he clean?
Kevin, you're a gross man.
No. I'm just not a weenie.
I think the majority of our listeners agree.
I do too.
That the lotioning your
Also,
bare
by the
feet
way,
on an airplane.
also, Texter just like says, have we just discovered Kevin's a feet guy? No, I think I don't.
That's a weird thing.
I
is
don't.
to be a
I don't.
foot
What
guy.
I don't understand is how our feet, both of these extremes, they're just feet. It's just another thing
But
that's
here-
got skin and
I'm-
bone, and
I'm
you
gonna
happen to walk on them.
I'm going to tell you part of the reason it's disgusting. I know people
Mm-hmm.
who say they don't wash their feet in the shower.
Okay, what would you bet on for the
And I
lotion
think-
guy?
I
You
bet-
think he washes his feet?
I bet Kevin does not wash his feet.
People,
don't have to answer
I
that.
think people, there are a lot of
I mean,
people out there
They get
who,
water on them.
who see, that's it. That's what they say. They're like, oh,
Took the bait.
all the water
He
runs
took-
down. I don't need to wash them. Yes, you
guys
have
are
to
s-
wash your feet.
You guys take the bait so fast.
There's
That's not bait.
fungus.
Like little fishies.
That's not
Kevin,
bait.
There's invisible fungus on your feet.
Yep.
There are
And
microbes
sweat.
all over and in your body.
Do you know you sweat 1/4 of a cup of sweat every day in your feet?
Yep. Oh,
You
my
didn't
socks know that.
that.
Yeah, my socks know that. Actually, that's not true, but
No, it's true.
No,
I
it's
used to
not.
work at a foot store.
I don't believe you.
I believe you.
Thank you.
How are your socks then not soaking wet at the end of every day?
It's not all at once.
Okay.
And when I
If
run,
the socks
they're
are on
soaking wet.
all day and there's nothing,
You don't. Your socks aren't damp at the end of the day.
sometimes, but not always.
Oh, what I can't imagine is I can imagine it. Don't understand though. The dude lotioning his feet and then immediately putting the socks back on, and then because you're still greasy.
It's also kind of weird to me that somebody's obsessive about something like that, which is about, keeping everything in order and keeping things nice, would be the person that would also do that on a plane. I think that's an odd juxtaposition.
I've noticed that though. Like I know a lady who was very put together. She looked like perfect hair, perfect makeup. Gets on the plane takes off, and as soon as you can put your tray tables down, she starts painting her nails You know what a strong smell that is? Fingernails.
Yeah, I would say that it's not gross, but it's kind of rude for the people around
the
you.
smell was so strong.
Yeah.
How can you be so inconsiderate?
That's rude to the people around you. And again, if Lotion Man's feet smelled bad, that would be rude also.
Well, you got to get up in there and find out.
Not always.
We want you to follow us on Twitter at the show KMOX. And we have a Twitter poll up right now.
Good.
How gross is it for someone to take off their shoes during a flight and lotion their feet?
I mean, it's a little disturbing because it makes me wonder what's wrong with them.
Here are your options. Not gross, weird, not gross, gross, absolutely disgusting. You have 4 options.
Yeah.
And I think we've covered the gamut.
I'm going with the weird, but not gross. Barring the presence of more information, like I said.
What's the information? The information is this man took off his shoes.
Are you telling me you've never experienced this or don't have that friend that when they take the shoe off, everybody in the room knows it?
Oh, yeah. Oh, of course.
If it's that scenario, then it's definitely gross.
No, but I don't care if it's perfect feet.
What if they smell like roses?
Doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if they're perfect, if they're roses, if you get $50 to take your sock and shoe off. I don't know. It's disgusting. Like
should get help.
I think the people who should get help are, and I have a lot of my friends who, and it's usually women. In fact, I think it's almost always women who have to, when they post photos of themselves on Instagram or whatever, they'll, like they're at the beach or something, and they will put emojis over their feet because dudes will send them direct messages and ask for foot pictures.
That's gross.
That's what is wrong with that. Is
when we had,
it's the weirdest thing in the world.
What if someone offered you $1,000 though for the picture?
Well,
I would do it.
We had Jeff Dye.
I would send it to you. Yeah,
we had Jeff Dye a couple weeks ago.
Oh yeah, that's right.
And he's like, okay,
yeah,
that'd probably be my response too. Okay,
like just a photo of my feet and nothing else.
Here's my question: how do they know it's your feet?
That's my point.
They don't.
You could send a picture of like a
That's
random
correct.
stock image.
That's right. That's correct.
But what is it with weirdos?
I don't know.
Like DMing a stranger, somebody they don't really know. Maybe
Yeah.
you just follow them on Instagram or Facebook or whatever.
I don't get any of the feet things. I don't get the fetish, and I don't get the absolute disgust with just another part of the human body.
Feet.
Well, one is way worse than the
Yeah.
other.
Just saying. Well, you're probably right about that. I think it's much weirder to be really fascinated by feet than it is to be grossed out by them. I think you're right.
You're right.
I'm agreeing with you. Stop talking about that.
Thank you. Bye.
Attention vacation seekers, your next exciting vacation is just one phone call away. Resort Save has the best deals on your next family vacation with huge savings. How about a 5-day, 4-night stay in Cancun or Cabo for just $199 per person, and kids under 12 stay absolutely free. If you make the call now, your entire stay in Mexico will be all-inclusive for the whole family. A $990 value free. Call now, 800-388-0865. Craving thrills and theme parks? How about a 7-day, 6-night vacation in Orlando and Daytona Beach for just $298? Good for up to 4 travelers. And on top of that, they will include a complimentary 7-day rental car from one of many preferred brands. Call 800-388-0865. They're committed to finding you the best deal on your next vacation, but it's up to you to make the call and secure this limited time offer. Call 800-388-0865 right now to learn how you can get both of these amazing deals. Here's the number again. 800-388-0865. 800-388-0865.
For everything online, it's Odyssey.com. Download the Odyssey app and listen to KMOX for all the news, sports, talk, and podcasts that move you. Odyssey, that's AUDACY.
Hello, this is Chad Clayman again with ClaymanGroup.com, KLAMEN Group.com, 946-9999. We're locally and family owned, and we bought over 50 properties this year. A lot of times people are looking to sell their property as is, and maybe they've talked to another investor and didn't get a good offer, and we came in and made a better offer. Because of our economies of scale, we can usually pay more than all other investors in town and provide probably one of the strongest offers you'll get. Reach out to us today, KLAMEN Group.com or 314-946-9999.
Nationally recognized, locally invested, Busey Bank is pleased to be named one of America's best banks for 2022 by Forbes. A prestigious and humbling honor, Busey is proud to deliver best-in-class service to our valued customers and vibrant communities. Whatever your financial needs, partner with an award-winning team for solutions to your business, wealth, and personal banking needs. Building business, growing wealth since 1868. Member FDIC.
Right now is the perfect time to call Zero Res to deep clean and refresh your carpets, air ducts, upholstery, and more. Call 314-474-2020 to get 3-room Zero Res clean starting at just $129 and take $75 off your air duct cleaning. ZeroResSTL.com.
If your business has accounting problems, you probably have tax problems. Hi, this is Lance Drury with the Lance Drury Law Firm in St. Louis. Running a small business is tough, and it's no surprise that companies that don't keep good books often run into tax issues. If you don't fix your accounting problems, you could be doomed to land in the same tax pitfalls every year. Call the Lance Drury Law Firm today. I can help you get out of tax trouble and stay out. If your small business doesn't have a CPA or accountant, I can help you find one. And if you already have one, I work closely with them to resolve your tax problems quickly. Make no mistake, if the numbers don't add up, the IRS will catch it. Fix your accounting and tax problems before they snowball with help from the Lance Drury Law Firm. Remember, if you have IRS issues, you have legal issues. Call attorney Lance Drury, 314-260-6120, or go to Lance, DRURY law.com.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements.
Hi, this is Charlie Brennan. I've been telling you about doctors Greg Birdie, Ranjan Malhotra, Andrew Royer, and Robert Brusati for more than 20 years. These are the doctors' doctors because more than 250 local doctors are patients at their office, Ophthalmology Associates. In fact, I'm a patient there, as you know, in addition to my wife and kids and sister. We're all patients there. And this year, we're also welcoming other CamWex personalities to the Ophthalmology Associates family. Carol Daniel, Dave Glover, Tom Ackerman, Debbie Monterey, Kevin Wheeler, Chris Ranji, Amy Marks Kors, Trish Gazelle, also on board with Ophthalmology Associates. You probably already heard their stories and experiences with the doctors' doctors. Well, I thought it might be nice to welcome them all to the finest eye care team in St. Louis, the doctors' doctors at Ophthalmology Associates in Sullivan, St. Peter's, and their main headquarters, 270 in Manchester, 314-966-5000, and youridoc.com.
Nearly a century of informing, entertaining, and serving St. Louis. KMOX.
All right, so yesterday on the show, we were talking about what's going on in Russia, how more than 16,000 people there have been arrested and detained for voicing anti-war sentiment, right? Well, I read a story today I would not have expected to read. Actually read it last night, but I would not have expected to read about something like this in the UK. So we all know that they're going through the process of transitioning from Queen Elizabeth to King Charles. Mm-hmm. And there are people there that are opposed to the monarchy. They do not, they want the monarchy abolished. There were people holding up signs that said, "Not my king," things along those lines. People in the UK were being arrested for that. Arrested and charged for holding a sign that says, "Not my king." Now, some people had some profanity on the sign. Some people were shouting things in a crowd. There were people that were arrested under different circumstances. But the most telling one is this video that goes along with the audio that I want to play here. So I want to play this audio. This is a lawyer who was holding up a blank piece of paper in the crowd, said nothing on it, and then had this interaction with a British police officer.
Why are you not giving details? I'm not giving. Why would you ask my details? Just so I can check and make sure you can be here. I'm in my city. You've already said you've been arrested once. Sorry? You've already told me you've been arrested. No, I haven't. You said that earlier. No, I said other people have been arrested. Okay, well, now we've made that clear. I want to make sure you didn't have bail conditions not to be. So just confirm. You're not going to give me your details. I was holding up a blank sign. Why are you asking for my details? You said you're going to write stuff on it that may offend people. I said I was going to write "Not my king" on a sign. You asked for my details. It may offend someone. Who's that going to offend? I don't know. Someone may be offended. Not my king. Someone might be offended. Are you going to listen or are you just going to talk over me? Is that what you plan to do? Just talk over me continuously? Go ahead. No? Thank you.
So a little bit tough to understand, but here's the simple version.
It's extremely polite interaction.
You're right.
Between
so again, the simple,
police and an offender.
That's like nicer than you and I talk to each other.
Simple version of this is, I don't know, he's not called a lawyer in Great Britain. It would be a barrister, I guess. But the lawyer standing with a blank piece of paper in the crowd is holding it up. Police officer comes to him and asks for his details.
Yeah.
Means your ID, means, who are you? What are you doing here? Why are you here? And the lawyer is essentially saying, why are you even asking me this? It's a blank piece of paper.
Mm-hmm.
And the police officer says, well, you said you might write "not my king" on there, and that could be offensive. And for that, I would have to arrest you.
Yeah.
They can arrest you in the UK for a political protest. And that is nothing more than a sign that says "not my king." You can be arrested for that in the UK? That's shocking to me.
Yeah, it was shocking. And I have looked at different, because when you brought this up, I thought, okay, there's got to be more to this story, right? And there is, but there isn't. Do you know what I mean? Like there are.
Each example's a little different.
Each example's a little bit different, and you're looking at what's allowable in the UK. Now, here's what did happen shortly after a bunch of protests for Black Lives Matters and the Extinction Rebellion, which was a protest thing in the UK. That. Because those protests were so large, they lasted so long, they passed new laws that allow police to arrest people if a protest is deemed, quote, unjustifiably noisy or could seriously disrupt an organization's activities or their ability to move forward. So there is a lot of leeway here. It's completely subjective. It's up to the determination of law enforcement to impose or enforce this law. If, for instance, vulnerable groups are affected, like children, right? Are you bothering children? Is the duration of the protest long enough to really impede something moving forward? But because it's so
vague
and subjective, they could say, well, this is a funeral procession. This is offensive. This is disrupting. And it really has sparked a freedom of speech debate within the United Kingdom.
You can't be a democracy if you won't allow that.
Right.
You can't call yourself a democracy if somebody can't say, we don't believe in you as a leader. If you can be arrested for expressing that opinion. Now, again, if you're trying to jump into the funeral procession and cause problems, you should be
If you're
arrested.
disruptive, I guess.
If you're starting
Depends.
fights with
It
people,
depends.
you can be arrested. But if you're just standing there
Right.
holding a sign, or if you just shout, "not my king,"
So
there's
here's-
no reason in a democracy why you should be arrested.
And some of them were just pulled away, right? Like the police would pull them away. It looks like some
Not
were
okay
actually
either.
arrested. Right. So freedom of speech, First Amendment, in the United States, all of that is to protect really stupid, offensive people as well, right? And you're watching a funeral procession and someone in the crowd close up is heckling the family members walking with the casket. That is still legal
It's horrible.
in the United States. It's horrible, but it looks like in Great Britain they can arrest you for that.
We have a texter who says, "Not my president will get you arrested." Also,
No.
when?
I don't think so.
I've never heard of that.
A lot of people have done both. For both parties have done
Yeah.
that. I don't think that's I don't think that's a thing. And if it happened, by the way, it's horribly wrong. And if you're a public person or a public family, you shouldn't get the same protections as a private family would if they were going through something similar. You are public, therefore you are there for criticism, especially when you're in power.
You know what old guy thing has ruined me, and I don't care?
There's always something new to learn about Dave Glover.
Closed captioned on my TV. It happened one time, and I was too old guy to figure out how to get rid of it. And after a couple shows, I'm like, I like this.
I can't. I know.
Especially the part I love. Where in parentheses, it's like dramatic music playing.
It's happening right now on Let's Make a Deal. It's like
Is it?
cheers
Yes.
and applause.
I'm a closed caption guy now.
The Dave Glover Show, weekdays at 2 on KMOX.
Hi, this is Charlie Brendan. Do you have a home or a business made out of stone or brick? If so, listen up, because Morelli Tuck Pointing is the masonry specialist, serving St. Louis for 31 years. Morelli Tuck Pointing can work on completely solid houses and buildings, spot pointing with color match, brick and stone repair, foundation repair, walkways, porches. This time of year, people notice that their patios are somewhat cattywampus and those bricks need realignment. How about caulking, waterproofing? Morelli is a family-owned and operated business. Longtime employees there feel like family. And of course, everyone at Morelli is very proud to be a recipient of the Better Business Bureau Torch Award, which is only given to local companies with exceptional customer service. Today, you can call to request a free and quick estimate at 314-645-1387. When it comes to bricks and stone, go to the best. Morelli Tuck Pointing at MorelliTuckPointing.com.
In this market, you'll find Fisher Investments is different than other money managers.
Different how? Aren't we all just looking for the hottest stocks?
Nope. We use diversified strategies to position our clients' portfolios for their long-term goals.
You don't just provide cookie-cutter portfolios?
No. We tailor our clients' portfolios to their goals and needs.
But you still sell investments that generate high commissions for you, right?
No, we don't sell commission-based products. We're a fiduciary, the highest standard of care for a financial advisor. It means we're obligated to act in our clients' best interest.
So when do you make more money? Only when your clients make more money?
Yep. We have one transparent management fee structured so we do better when our clients do better.
Sounds like you really look out for your clients.
We do, because our priority is helping them achieve a comfortable retirement. That might be why most of our clients come from other money managers. Visit FisherInvestments.com to find out why investors like you switch to us. Fisher Investments. Clearly different money management.
Investments in securities involve the risk of loss.
At 1:30, it's sunny and 80 degrees downtown at the Arch. A plane carrying the coffin of Queen Elizabeth II has landed in London, where crowds have gathered along a route to Buckingham Palace. King Charles III and other members of the late Queen's close family will meet it at Buckingham Palace. The Consumer Price Index shows prices rose by 0.1% in August, with an 8.3% increase since 2021. Increases in home, food, and medical care costs saw the largest increases, while the cost of gasoline dropped by over 10%. Bankrate.com senior economic analyst Mark Hamrick weighs in.
The August CPI is a reminder we don't always get what we want, whether looking at the month-over-month 0.6% rise in the core, excluding food and energy, or the outsized gains in the year-over-year measures. These numbers represent pricing pain for consumers and pressures for businesses trying to manage through them.
KMOX is teaming up with St. Louis City SC to do something special for the first game at Centene Stadium. KMOX Sports Director Tom Ackerman made the announcement on Total Information AM.
KMOX will carry the first match ever at Centene Stadium when St. Louis City 2 takes on Sporting KC 2 in MLS Next Pro action. It'll be this Sunday, 6 o'clock kickoff.
Eager to get your St. Louis City SC swag? You're in luck. The team's store opens today. City Goods is on the southwest corner of Centene Stadium at 21st and Market. KMOX traffic stall 44 west at 55 right shoulder and 270 north before 6440. Watch out there. Forecast is sponsored by STL Windows Direct. Sunny today, high 79. Clear tonight, low 56. Tomorrow, sunny with a high 85. It's 80 degrees now downtown at the Arch. All the news you need for your day is on the free Odyssey app. Download it now. I'm Michael Calhoun, KMOX News.
Not all windows are created equal. See things more clearly with an STL Windows Direct window. Compare the difference at STLWindowsDirect.com. STLWindowsDirect.com.
STL Windows Direct.
Hi, this is Ken.
And Laurie Heisey of Heisey Advisory Group. We're dedicated to helping individuals and families work toward their financial goals.
Join us Sundays at 9:30 a.m. for Your Retirement Highway.
Investment advisory services by individuals through AE Wealth Management, LLC.
Driven by the Bomarito Automotive Group, the voice of St. Louis, KMOX.
The World Trade Center St. Louis is hosting its annual Growing Global Luncheon Friday, September 30th at the Ritz-Carlton in Clayton. With the successful launch of direct flights to Europe, Growing Global 2022 will explore international connectivity and the value and impact of connecting our community and businesses in a 21st century global economy. Registration and sponsorships are available at worldtradecenter-stl.com. Reserve your spot now and join us for Growing Global September 30th.
When you want a brand new kitchen, there's nothing to it. There's a brand new way to do it. 3-day kitchen and bath. It's all about time.
3 days or less
at 3-day kitchen and bath.
Do you love your house and hate the thought of assisted living? Whether you're caring for a loved one in your home right now or planning to live independently in the years ahead, call 3-Day Kitchen and Bath. They can completely remodel your old bathroom in just 3 days and back up their work with a 100% satisfaction guarantee on both their quality and craftsmanship. If all you need is a new walk-in tub or easy entry shower to make your life easier, they could do just that for you. Avoid the hassle and stress of remodeling. Check them out on the web at 3daykitchen.com or call 3-Day Kitchen and Bath for your free design consultation today. 3-Day Kitchen and Bath. It's about time.
It's about time
3 days or less.
at 3-Day Kitchen and Bath.
KMOX is Cardinals Radio.
It's the Cards and Brewers tonight. Ameren pregame show 5:50. First pitch 6:45. Hear the game on KMOX and streaming on KMOX.com.
I don't know what this is. What is this?
It's from Succession,
Oh,
Kevin.
cool.
That I just said, though. You don't have to bring it up. Just never mind.
I don't know what it is.
Yeah, so it's from...
I can promise you that I'm not the only person that's listening to that going, what is that?
That's fine. That's fine, Kevin. Those people
What,
just...
questions aren't
look at
okay
it.
then. All right,
Yeah,
bye.
maybe.
Play Barry Manilow and I'll leave.
Yeah.
Bye.
Hey, if you want.
You've been in a bad mood.
I slept
since
like 3 hours
Copacabana.
last night.
Hey, so
No, I
did
didn't.
I.
That's true, actually. Well, I mean, you do that. Barry Manilow does that to me. I'm sorry. Makes me angry. Go ahead, Ranch.
I don't know. What now? What were we talking about?
I
Oh,
don't
the
know.
Emmys were last night. Do you guys watch it anymore?
Nope.
I knew the Emmys were on when like someone tweeted that the Emmys had started. I had no idea.
I love television shows. I don't like shows about shows.
I don't like award shows any longer.
Yeah,
I think
I'm
I'm
with
just
you.
over it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't really. I like to know who wins.
After the
and-
fact, like, I get that. I get that. Yeah.
And Succession won last night for Best Drama, and Ted Lasso won for Comedy Series. And what I'm noticing is that you go through the list of winners, all the shows last night, there was only one that I can remember that was even nominated for and I mean like a best series, best drama, best comedy, best whatever. There was only one that was a network show. So like an ABC, CBS, NBC.
Really?
Which one was that?
It was for Abbott Elementary, which I have not seen,
Yeah, I
but
don't know what that
a lot of people think it's really good. I have not ever seen it, but most of the best shows are either on cable, expanded cable, or are on a service like Prime or Netflix.
Right, streaming, right.
Like none of the good stuff is, I think Modern Family is one of the last ones that ever won that was on a major
Which is great.
over-the-air
writing.
network.
By the way, I think the same producer, Christopher Lloyd of Modern Family, also produced Frasier.
Yeah, he was in Back to the Future too.
Not that guy.
Oh,
Different guy.
different.
I don't know. I lost interest in the Emmys once the show Schitt's Creek ended. I do love that show.
What was that on?
It was on a
Was it a
Canadian.
CBC?
No.
Yes, CBC.
No, it wasn't CBC. It was Canadian, but it was not Ion because they do the little before the show
Okay.
on Netflix.
Oh, okay. But these shows, like we talk a lot about how there is it feels like we're in a bit of a golden age of pop. Okay.
Pop television.
A golden age of television because there's so much good stuff out there and you have so many different options. There are so many different studios who are employing really talented writers, and it's not just ABC and CBS and NBC anymore, and it's not just AMC, which has had a lot of great shows like Breaking Bad and Better Call Saul and Walking Dead when it was still good. It's not really great anymore, but all the good stuff is like there's just so much of it now.
It's got to be impossible. I don't even know of a network show that I watch. Like I don't think I've watched a network show in 10 years.
So this is a dumb question because I don't watch these shows, but The Mandalorian.
Yeah.
That would count as an Emmy Award candidate.
Yeah.
Because every episode of The Mandalorian feels like a feature film.
It's a short movie. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the problem
quality
is
of
that
production.
I think that's the problem for the broadcast. Like you can't do the depth or the intensity or the I mean, let's be honest, some of the subject matter, you can't do it on broadcast TV, and you can't do it when you're taking a break every 10 minutes. Like it takes you right out of the show. Ever since I started getting into the shows that don't have commercials, and it started with the HBO stuff. It started with The Sopranos and The Wire and Oz and all of that, and it's grown from there. Even fast forwarding, like it takes you out of the story for that little bit of a moment to where you're like, well, and I don't like sitcoms, so maybe that's kind of a weird thing.
I was just going to ask, is there a laugh track sitcom on or live studio audience sitcom on right now?
Is King of Queens still on?
I don't know.
I don't know. Because Friends, that was a sitcom with a laugh track or studio audience. I don't know.
Right. That's a great question. I don't really know. Because a lot of the stuff I watch is not, I'm right there with you. Nothing that's on those networks interests me.
Nope.
And and I did not think of it. I did not think of what you said. I did not think about the commercial aspects of it because it does take you out of a rhythm when you don't really, you have other options. My only feeling was because you can do more.
No, you're right.
You don't have the FCC saying,
Nope.
that's obscene or that's indecent or you can't say that word. That's on ABC and in CBS and NBC because the FCC has jurisdiction over them, but doesn't over the rest of it.
Right.
They are more free to do what they want and have more complicated subject matter. And I think be more real when they talk. Like when the dialogue is more real when you're watching a show that's on HBO because they can talk the way people talk and you don't have to censor yourself before you talk. So that to me is more compelling, but I never really thought about, you have to take 4 breaks during your hour-long show because we have commercials that we have to deal with.
Yeah.
Or 8 breaks, whatever it is.
And I think I don't think it's as big a deal for like a sitcom. Right? I mean, it's a lighthearted stuff. You're laughing. I don't really like sitcoms, and I haven't for a while because it's all the same. Like it's corny, like there's always a misunderstanding, and then we solve it, and we all giggle.
Yeah,
like it's the same formula all the time, which is what pushes me away. But the comedy that you can get, for example, on Netflix or that you can get on HBO, whether it's stand up or it's just like a funnier movie or a funny TV show, it's different.
Yes.
It's different than when it is that formulaic sitcom style. Like you talk about Schitt's Creek, they couldn't do that stuff the way that they did on a regular network and have the same impact, could they?
I don't know because I haven't actually watched the show, so I don't know.
But people, just in general,
just whatever they do, because people tell me that I would really like it, but I don't know.
I think they could do everything on that show except drop the F-bomb, which they do. Yeah. Because they show and say way more on other shows that are on network television.
Well, on cable.
Because this was network television. I forgot. This was in Canada.
Point.
Yeah.
So, but when you're watching it on streaming, though, they cut the commercials out. And you just get like, it looks like it's going to break, and then it doesn't. It just continues on the other side. Right?
And I guess they can drop the F-bomb in Canada, on TV. I don't know.
You can do it on cable. You could do it. Was it FX that did the O.J. Simpson story with Cuba Gooding?
The People versus O.J. Simpson?
There were like 2... O.J. Simpson things that came up.
That one.
That one. Yes. Because there is a moment at the end of one of the episodes where the actress, and I can't think of her name, playing Marcia Clark, as they're pulling the camera out and ending the show, she drops the F word. And I went, oh, okay. They're doing that on FX now.
Yes, on FX you can do all that. Yeah.
But they can.
Yeah.
Like they've always been able to. They just don't. I guess out of tradition or whatever. They just haven't done it, but they have the option of doing it whatever they want to. There are shows though, like Barry is on HBO, and it is extremely good. It is very, very good. It's Bill Hader. There's nothing else.
And Henry Winkler.
And Henry Winkler is on it. And there isn't another show like it, but it's funny, and then it's dark, and then there are moments where you're like, oh my God, wow, that was something. It's brilliant, brilliant writing. You could not do that show on ABC. You just couldn't.
It's kind of dark.
It's dark, violence, some of the language, maybe some of the visuals you couldn't get away with, I guess, but you just couldn't do it.
What about It's Always Sunny?
That's on FX.
Okay.
And so
it's just kind of a middle ground.
Yeah.
They can do a lot, but they can't go as far as a streaming service would, but they can swear, they can do all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, which they do.
Yeah.
I don't feel like they F-worded up, but they drop the other ones though.
It's one of the more interesting things too, because I watch I've looked at how my viewing habits have changed over the last 10, 15 years, where I used to watch a few network shows here and there and mix them in. Now it's zero. Yeah. It's absolutely zero. And my thought process is, why would I watch stuff that's not as good when I have all of these other choices?
Yeah, I know this has been a while. The Office was brilliantly written and done. The Office was hilarious. That holds up. Like Modern Family holds up, even though it's not that old. It holds up. And I mean, you could even argue that if you want to go back to goofy laugh track sitcoms, I still say Seinfeld and Frasier are still hilarious.
No, they are really good. I wonder if The Office, maybe not the other ones, but The Office, if it were coming out today, would probably be on something else.
Yeah,
It's so cringy. Like it's hard to watch at times.
Yeah, it would be on it would be on a show or on a network where you could get away with more, I think. Another thing that was interesting that came out of I think it was yesterday, within the last couple of days, Kenan Thompson, who was the host of the Emmys last night, talking about Saturday Night Live, SNL, which is approaching its 50th season. And Lorne Michaels is 77, and he's been the showrunner for almost the entire time. And Kenan suggesting that maybe the show should completely come to an end.
He's still on the show, too, for the new season. Kenan is.
Kenan Thompson is one of the only, well, I mean, they still have a handful of people coming back, but like Adie Bryant is leaving the show, and there are a few others. Cecily Strong's still going to be there. But when they all leave, or when Lorne decides to retire, I mean, he'll be 80 years old. Maybe they should just stop doing the show altogether. I think that I have not been alive, I don't think. When did the show start? 75? 76?
Well, I mean, they're at year like 48 right now.
Yeah, so SNL has been on my entire life.
Yeah.
That's one of the only shows, like 60 Minutes, SNL.
Soap operas.
Almost Law
soap
and Order.
Operas.
I'm joking.
Well,
Law and Order's been on for
getting
like
up there.
28 years or something crazy like
But
that.
even if it goes away, and I don't watch SNL every week.
I never watch.
I watch, like, if I hear a good sketch is happening,
Catch it
did
on
happen, I'll
Twitter or
go,
something.
I'll go find it later. But I don't know what it'll be like when it's not there anymore, because it's always been a constant. I think that's really interesting to think about that, because it's a show. If you don't watch it all the time, it's there and you know it's there. How many shows are on your entire lifetime? Very few.
Almost none.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not my entire lifetime. I guess I don't know when 60 Minutes started, but maybe that's the one for my age.
Oh, that's got to be at least.
The Simpsons for a lot of people.
For a lot of people, The Simpsons. Yeah, you're right.
Not for me.
You're older than the Simpsons.
Way older than the
Simpsons. Yeah, I remember
Wow.
when The Simpsons was on the Tracy Ullman show.
Yeah, I want to say I was
It
in
was a
like
short
high school when they came on.
Wow.
Yeah.
Something like that.
That's right. 1968 was the first
Yep.
episode of
Then
60 Minutes.
That's the only show that I can think of that's older than me.
Non-soap
there.
opera.
Oh, maybe. I don't know. I guess those have been around forever too. Right?
60 Minutes,
Yeah.
still really good.
Pretty fantastic. What are we doing next?
Whatever
What do
you
guys wanna
want.
You fought Jay Moriarty.
No, we didn't. We didn't. I did not. Thankfully for him and probably for me.
That's great.
All right, we can do a little story time when we come back on the show.
Hey, Mary.
If you own a house in St. Louis and you want to sell it as is, without any inspections or the need to make any repairs, call Chris Buys Homes St. Louis at 314-328-8000 or at chrisbuyshomes.louis.com and get your cash offer without any obligations, commissions, banks, or headaches. Chris buys vacant houses, inherited houses, fixer-uppers, beautiful houses, even the tenant won't pay the rent apartment. Google Chris Buys Homes in St. Louis. That's Chris Buys Homes in St. Louis, and check out the best reviews from satisfied customers. When you sell to Chris, you decide when you want to move according to your schedule and your terms. Go to chrisbuyshomesinstlouis.com. Google Chris Buys Homes in St. Louis or call 314-328-8000. That's 314-328-8000. Call Chris and get the offer you've been waiting for. Chris Buys Homes in St. Louis.com. That's Chris Buys Homes in St. Louis.com or call 314-328-8000.
Join us in Forest Park, September 16th and 17th to celebrate the 50th annual Great Forest Park Balloon Race, presented by PNC Bank. Attendance is free, and the number of memories and photos you can capture is endless. Visit GreatForestParkBalloonRace.com for a sneak peek at the beautiful balloon set to take flight, plus event details and directions. Sponsored by Children's Hospital, Purina, Schnucks, Airly Foods, and the voice of St. Louis, KMOX.
Hey guys, Glover here, and I see clearly thanks to Doctors Birdie and Malhotra, and you can too. Go to youridoc.com today or call 314-966-5000.
Knapheide Manufacturing Company seeks a full-time data analyst 2 in Quincy, Illinois. The position requires a bachelor's degree plus 2 years of experience or a master's degree in data analytics or related. You will use Tableau, data transformation, warehousing and optimization, SQL, Python programming, statistical models, ML, and DL to liaison between data explorers and developers. Send resume to jbeeler@knapheide.com and reference job 6006. No calls, agents, or visa sponsorship, please.
This is Corey from Air Comfort Service Heating and Cooling, here to tell you about an organization that is near and dear to our company and one we've been proud to sponsor, Greater St. Louis Honor Flight. Greater St. Louis Honor Flight flies World War II, Korea, and Vietnam War veterans to Washington, D.C. for free to see their memorials. Greater St. Louis Honor Flight is looking for you. If you know of a veteran, please sign them up for their honor flight, or if you'd like to lend your support, visit gslhonorflight.org. And for all things heating and cooling, visit aircomfortservice.com. That's aircomfortservice.com.
I'm sure that you've felt the shift in the real estate market and have wondered how it will affect you. Is it time to buy or is it time to sell? What are your options? Hi, I'm Christina Straight with Straight Realty. Give us a call and we can discuss a strategy that works for your individual needs in this ever-changing market. Quality and experience at a more affordable rate. Why pay more than $4? 314-441-4444. 314-441-4444.
Straight Realty is a licensed broker in the state of Missouri.
Darren Bailey isn't popular with the political establishment of either party because he's from the real world.
I'm proud to be a family farmer. We get up before the sun comes up and we work until after it goes down. We fix things that are broken. We solve problems and we grow things. And I love to remind people what farmers do. They feed the world.
Like you, Bailey knows what hasn't worked.
Decade after decade of mismanagement in Springfield, back-to-back billionaire governors, and where has that gotten us?
Bailey got involved in state politics by opposing the income tax increase signed by the previous Republican governor, and then led the opposition to the income tax increase proposed by the current Democrat governor, because high taxes are driving families from Illinois. We tried billionaires from both parties. They left us with high taxes, high unemployment, and high crime rates. How much worse does it have to get before we give a practical problem solver a try? Paid for by people who play by the rules pack.
Whether you're looking to fill low spots in your lawn, backfill that new retaining wall, or mulch your trees and flower beds, St. Louis Composting has the compost, soil, or mulch you need to help your plants and garden look its very best. Visit our website, stlcompost.com, for more information.
Join the Foundation Fighting Blindness at the St. Louis Vision Walk on Saturday, October 1st at Creve Coeur Lake Park to help find cures to diseases that cause blindness. Visit visionwalk.org.
Hi, this is Kent Newbold for Newbold BMW. We just celebrated our 35th year as a BMW dealer by finishing our multi-million-dollar renovation. So come see it. It's Newbold BMW in O'Fallon, Illinois, or newboldbmw.com. You'll be sold on Newbold.
If you're trying to sell a home, there's only one agent in town that I trust, Mark and Neil Gelman of eXp Realty. My friends Mark and Neil have the best system, options, and strategies to connect you to the best qualified buyers, getting your home sold fast and for top dollar. Go to thegelmanteam.com.
The show, sponsored by Straight Realty, your St. Louis area experts. Why pay more than $4? 314-441-4444. More Amy, more Kevin, more Chris. What is this weird show? The Show on KMOX.
All right, back into the show here on KMOX. Chris Ranji, Amy Marks, of course, Kevin Wheeler with you on Tuesday.
A texter, 314-436-7900. You can text the show whenever. Says, Meet the Press is the longest running show in America. And that is correct. 1948. No, I'm sorry, 1947. Meet the Press is the oldest show. The CBS Evening News is the second because it started in 1948. Then the Tonight Show.
Oh, wow.
Oh, yeah. Great point.
It's been around 67 years. They put Miss Universe and Miss America, but that's once a year. And the Jerry Lewis Telethon.
Wow.
Which is also once a year.
Meet the Press.
You know what they say?
He's older than my parents.
You can meet the press, but you can't meet a baby.
Oh, my God.
You cannot meet a baby. Great point.
You met a baby today, Ron.
I did not. I saw the baby. I saw Frank's baby. Didn't meet it.
You did.
The baby doesn't know it met me.
No, it does not. But you
because-
know it, and that's the point.
All right, you fought Jay Mariachi.
No, I did not.
And we would like to hear the story.
I
Jay
did not.
Mariachi.
Yeah, I did not. I almost did. And here's the short version.
Okay.
Okay, so flashback to the year 2000. we're all sent to Sydney, Australia to cover the Olympics. There's 3 of us from our radio network that are going. There's an executive producer named Tim. There's me, and then Scott Fransky, who is now the Phillies play-by-play man. The 3 of us are there, and Jay works for our network, but he was sent there by his newspaper, by the Chicago Sun-Times. They set him up with his own place, his own apartment, all of that. Well, early on, he decided he liked our place better, so he just moved in with us without asking, and our executive producer wouldn't stand up to him and tell him no. So we had a 4th person in a place that was meant for 3 people, and he would eat our food and not replace it.
That sounds very much like Jay.
He would use all of the towels
That
in the
sounds like him
bathroom
too.
and not realize there's 4 of us and only 4 towels. And he would. So basically, there was a month of this going on where he would take our rental car, even though he could have gotten his own. He would take our rental car and be gone all day, and we'd be like, "We need to go places." So all of this is happening for a month, and in the final couple of days, we're in Sydney. The United States is playing Cuba in the semifinals of the Olympic baseball tournament, right?
Okay.
It's one of the last big events on the schedule. And for some reason, all of us went out to this really nice place in Sydney to hang out, watch some events on the big screen TVs. It was like a bar, like sports bar / cigar bar. So we're all there, and he's there and I'm there. And as we're getting later into the night, we're checking in on this baseball game, right? Because we want to know what's going to happen with the semifinal game. Are they going to get to play for the gold? And as we know, the U.S. team won the gold with Tommy Lasorda as the manager and Doug Minkiewicz and all those guys. Well, they were losing at the time that we checked. And Jay said something snarky like, good, because if they don't win, I don't have to cover the gold medal game or something like that. And I just looked at him and said, wow, dang, that's pretty cold. And he loses his mind, starts screaming at me in the middle of this bar. You're a young punk. You don't know what you're talking about, how difficult all this is. You know, we got to write on a deadline and the time change is different. He's screaming at me in a public place. I'm about 28 years old at the time. And then I said, no, Jay, I get it. You're more important than their Olympic dreams. I get it completely. And he starts screaming even more. I mean, like he leans over the table and he's like pointing at me. I don't even know what he's saying because I'm starting to get mad.
Yeah.
So I throw the table out of the way. I go right at him to try to grab him, and his buddies, thankfully, stepped in, held me back for about 5 minutes as I struggled to swim through and do all this. So, in fact, Dan Bickley was one of the guys that held him back. He's a sports guy in Arizona now, but he wrote for the Chicago papers back in the day, and even he jokes about it now. So that's the short version.
You know, you could have done Chicago a service a long time ago.
I know. I tried. You can say that,
hold me back.
His buddies. Well, I didn't say that. They just did it. I didn't want to be held back. But I'm glad that I was now looking back at it because I would have been in a lot of trouble.
Yeah.
DGS coming up next on the show.
Hi there. It's John Hancock for First Mid Bank and Trust. They're a community-focused organization. They put so much money back into the communities where they serve. They've been around for 157 years. If you're looking for a bank, check them out. They got 19 locations here.